Finally, I have everything that I need. Thanks to that mad poet, I have the Necronomicon, and a destination, finally, to locate the forgotten city of Neruzavin. This journey will be a long one, surely across land and seas both. But after all the effort that has been put forth, after everything I have attempted over the last few years, this is the victory lap. I will be denied no longer. The black stars beckon, and I will find them. I am Count Hasserton Lowls the Fourth, and when I am done here, no academic throughout the inner seas will forget this name. Somewhere, deep within these sands, I will build history.
Well, never have I ever not wanted to be in heaven as much as I do now. This place blows. I would like to go back to the shop. I can't remember where that was. I feel like this has happened before. Looking around, I hope someone will find me on this dock again.
And looking around the foot of the great seven-tiered mountain that is the plain of heaven, the dock, a small wooden pier looking plain enough on the shore of an ocean that goes out to the horizon like any other. Depictions of the heavens throughout the mortal world vary greatly. But here it's, at least at the base of the mountain, much simpler than one may have imagined. You certainly aren't alone. You can hear conversation, laughter, voices behind you. You're not at a pier directly connected to the main dock complex, but one some small distance away. And you can see many, many more very similar, bright golden figures, just like you yourself now appear, milling about in the small town attached. You are, more or less, alone over here on this secluded little pier. The only one who appears to have been deposited this far from what looks like the main center of activity, or perhaps the only one deposited recently. Until you see another golden figure approaching not from that town, not from the port itself, but from inland. Through these very beautiful forests, seeming to be composed almost entirely of open oases of grass and wide walking paths, nary an obtrusion to be seen. A single golden being comes. He looks a bit taller than you, and his proportions are somewhat odd. The figure is humanoid, but certainly does not appear to be human. You can see their face is a bit elongated, not so much into a snout, but almost reptilian. Their head curves to a ridge above the crest of their forehead that runs back down their neck between their shoulders. They seem to be aimlessly walking at first and get maybe within 20 feet of you before they seem to even notice that you are there. Their step pausing for a moment as their faceless gaze meets yours before they continue forward.
Hello. I've had an idea. Do you know of a man called Benji? He might be here.
I don't talk to a lot of the others.
Oh.
And most days, I'm the only one out of this pier. Did you come from town? Or are you looking for it?
I was kidnapped and brought here. To explain how I got here.
Do you know how you got here? None of the shades know how they got here. That's how this works. I thought.
Am I a shade?
Well, you look like one.
Are you a shade?
Well, I look like one.
Excellent. Neither us know whether we are shades. Inconclusive evidence. Do you know how you got here, other than by walking?
Well, I imagine much the same way as everyone else. I died. I know that much.
I did not die. Probably. I might have. But I was kidnapped by a solar system being of some sort. Very spooky. Probably, kind of.
The figure kind of looks around and then up into the sky. And then back to where they came. You are trying to be funny. I have not met many other shades with their sense of humor.
No one has called me funny before. This is excellent news. I high-five myself. I'm doing great at integration. But I do. Sorry to interrupt. I was not joking, although it was funny, probably. There was a solar system man that kidnapped me.
I don't know what to make of that.
Neither do I.
You don't really seem like everyone else here. I kind of thought I was the only one here who didn't really fit in. They're all like robots. Like machines. They are.
You see a very guilty look come over Prototype, but she's not saying anything.
And you speak oddly, of course, but many have said the same of me.
I am currently, please do not judge me for this, but I am currently on probation from multiple counts of murder. But if you would like to team up, maybe we can escape.
I've never heard anyone that wants to escape from heaven. Honestly, not even me. Maybe that's its effect. It's odd and everyone is very bland and humorless, but it's still relaxing. I don't know that I felt that before I came here. There's nothing to pursue, nothing I need. Everything is provided for. It's easy. Almost all the shades that arrive are amazed in wonder. I feel like people used to look at me like that.
In wonder?
Maybe.
I feel like very little can be appreciated without strife or hardship.
You remember before. Do you have a name?
Prototype 47.
Is that a name?
I am currently waiting for a name. It is going to be an excellent name. What is your name?
Well, I don't know. Nobody does. We don't remember our pasts. We come up with something here, but like I said, I don't talk to many of the other shades. The Harbor Master calls me Lizard on account of... Just kind of gestures towards his head.
Would you like to be called Lizard?
It seems to fit.
Excellent.
You should talk to him, maybe. I don't know if you can leave, but if that's an option, the Harbor Master will know.
I feel like you should come with me, and we can team up against the world.
No. I think my peer is fine.
You have lost your love for life. I find you pitiable.
Do you understand this? This is literal heaven, right?
Are
that
you...
most mortals spend their entire lives trying to arrange to come here after they die.
But you do not look like you are thriving. In fact, you are just existing.
He thinks for a second. I don't know where else I would go.
With me on an adventure. I am humorous, I have been told.
Maybe.
By you.
I will show you to the Harbor Master, at least. It is something interesting to do.
Excellent. Step 1 of our adventure.
He just kind of turns and starts walking. As he turns to the side, you see he has a tail that winds out behind him. This is like a full, standing iguana person figure that's making his way now out towards this little port town.
Excellent.
Assuming that you follow along with him, you are led
We're
into
now partners in crime.
the throng of these new arrivals here at the shores of heaven. Almost everything is shades and buildings of a pearlescent white wood. Planks that have a shine, almost like they're waxed, but it's clearly natural to the grain itself. Even the stone, though it's visible in crags in the ground and throughout the building, is a bright, swirled marble. It is gilded, bright, almost blinding in some places. It clearly takes some acclimation. But you get led to a large but relatively simple building near the center of this little town. Nothing is marked with any sort of signage or directions. All the shades milling about just seem to know where it is they need to go. Everything laid out with enough sense, enough reason, there's no need for it. It is pristine. And inside, you see an incredibly strange... I hesitate to even call it a figure. There is a floating being. Almost difficult for your mind to grasp the shape of. At its center, a moat of whirling golden light. And around it, what looks almost like extensions of gold and brass. Metal bent and warped rigidly around like wings, like a frame, but not. It doesn't even necessarily look alive. It has no visible, real form to it. No body, no face, no anything. Even less so than like an elemental. But as soon as you enter, the thing going about whatever business, interacting with some various shades, clearly swivels and turns to you. All of its parts seeming to move somewhat independently, overlapping and warping through each other in ways that are difficult to comprehend. It is an incredibly complex creature, a small one, maybe about the size of your torso. As it floats down, you can feel excitement and trepidation just sort of radiating out of this thing. Ah, yes, okay, all right, you've arrived. Here you are. Music told me you'd be here. That was quicker than I'd hoped, but welcome.
Hello.
Yes.
Are you able to identify a man who kidnapped me?
Yes, I know who you are. I know why you brought here. I know what the goal is. I told him it probably wasn't going to work, but Aeons don't really listen to us. They all just kind of do their own thing, don't they? Hello, lizard. He just kind of nods. Hello. All right. Anyway, hi. I'm the harbor master. I figured you'd be here. What is it you desire?
I would like to be returned from my kidnapping.
Yeah, that's why I told him what happened. All right. Well, here's the thing. So that's not really. It's sort of a one-way trip most of the time. So we're at the dock on the shores. Shades arrive when they've been judged worthy to arrive in heaven. Now, it's not exactly what happened to you, but you're still here. So it's not. We don't really have. There's not outgoing ships. There's not an outbound here. It's sort of. Well, your options are a lot of shades enjoy just staying in the village and exploring the lower tier, but it's great here. It's if you like wilderness, if you like camping. Camping's great. We got great camping. But you could also, if you want to work to climb to the second tier, this is a good place to do it. Hey Lizard, did you tell her about the call? He just shook his head. I did not. Like, also not shocking. So, here's the thing. Do you feel any kind of an inclination right now? Okay, let me not to go home, but anything else?
I would like to practice being humorous.
Okay, there you go. See, that's something. The whole goal, and the center of this thing sort of lights up, and this golden light for a moment radiates across this frame around it. The goal is to determine what you are. You're like your authentic self, the very heart of the essence of what it is to be you. That's what the shade is. That's what you are right now. And as soon as you figure out what that really means and put that together, that's how you get to the second level. All right, that's the easy one. They're going to be a lot harder than this, than going up. Not a lot of people make it all the way up the mountain, but I mean, most don't want to. It's again very nice. You don't have to. There's no pressure.
Can I do this after I have experienced life?
Look, Ariadna, I'm just going to tell you. I don't think you're going to come here if you go through things organically. I don't think Pharasma's really going to pick. She's not going to pick this one for you. The music's idea was that you've got one shot, okay? You're getting an opportunity for an afterlife that really, like, a whole lot of your mortal kind, your previous mortal kind, would just absolutely love to have. But, you don't really deserve, but, we're giving it a try anyway. Redemption and all that, right? That's what it's not really, heaven's not really a redemption place. You're going to have to do that before you get here normally. But, rare, one of a kind, once in a, not really lifetime, but, that makes sense to you. Mortals get that. Once in a lifetime opportunity.
I've heard that name, Ariadne, before.
Yep, that's because it's you. That's you. You're...
How so? Adelme has not named me yet.
I don't think it's not. I really don't know how...
I would like to talk to a manager.
That'd be me.
Getting upset.
Yep, I'm the only Archon on the first level. Hi, I'm the Harbor Master. I kind of deal with everything down here. And it's, I mean, what do you?
She wants to speak to God.
you just have to talk to God.
Go up, go higher.
Look, at the lower levels here, it's kind of just like I'm shade management. That's me. I mean, a lot of you probably didn't so much, but I'm like HR kind of, like talent assessment. I'm like a public relations. It's me.
I would like to speak to someone who can return me home.
technically, unfortunately, also me. But
Excellent.
really, okay.
I am in the right place. Lizard, thank you. Would you like to come with me home?
Okay, now I got to stop that one, unfortunately. So while part of the deal that we made with music is that if this whole thing isn't working out, we're not keeping you here, all right? And we're not gonna have mortal souls in heaven against their will. Nobody here doesn't want to be here. That's kind of sort of our whole thing.
Excellent. I don't want to be here.
Okay. But what you think in this exact moment, like your surface level thoughts, that's not. There's a lot more in there than just that. That's the whole point of the shade riddle. That's the whole thing you're petitioning for to move up the layer. Like there is more in there. Like even for you, Ariadna, I know there is. Look, I got a real long report for you, but you can.
Second level thought then is who is music?
Music's the Pleroma. He's from the council in Axis. He's the one that brought you here.
I would like to speak to music.
Yeah, that I'm not gonna do. We really try to minimize how often they're here, just in general. The fact that they just kind of showed up in Axis is already a problem. But
music. I'm going to start raising voice in like incremental level. And walking, like I will maybe just start walking and be like, music, music.
It's like she's lost a puppy.
Music.
You gotta get the attention of a lot of shades because this is, as the Harbor Master had said, this is heaven. They don't really have, disruptions. That's not a thing that happens here. So
I was hoping someone would start playing a lute or something.
You're just met with pure confusion. Like, this isn't a thing that happens. And the Harbor Master, as you walk up, immediately comes after you, and Lizard kind of watches and then shrugs and also just sort of slowly follows. No. Okay, hey. It's fine, everyone. This is just under control. Don't worry about this. Hey, Ariadna, look. All right, you want to go home?
Yes.
Last chance. Seriously, last chance. If this was a one-way trip here, it's supposed to be, and this is for real, for real, all eternity, all reality. Definitely a one-way trip back.
Look at all the happiness and joy surrounding us as I swivel my head in a complete 360. Everybody is just totally bland, existing through life, no expression at all. And I'm like, no, thank you. I would like to continue.
Well, I'll tell him I tried. All right, fair enough. And immediately at that, your vision just goes white. There's a complete blinding flash. Meanwhile...
And Lizard Man didn't come, and Lizard didn't come with me?
Lizard Man.
You're talking about a peaceful heaven. He's like, listen, I had a long life.
Lizard Man did not have a long life, actually.
This lizard was worshipped at some point, so he was a cool guy.
Meanwhile, somewhere, planes away in the material universe, a tiny little world called Galarian, in a tiny little room, in a tiny little inn. What was it you said?
About what?
All right, so we're chasing this idiot, and then immediately the blue crystal of Prototype vibrates and flashes and blinks back the yellow. And Prototype twitches slightly, and you find yourself sitting on the side of a bed in the inn room in Casimir, with a very confused party around you.
I wake up and you see me high five myself again. For the first time, you've never seen it happen.
Right.
Okay, that's weird.
I am victorious.
The voice is different.
It's Prototype.
Wait.
Yes, it is.
We need to come up with actual names for this one.
I think, did it try to high five itself, but just clap?
No, it high five.
Would you like to practice?
It doesn't have a mouth.
The enthusiasm, though, is overwhelming.
Weirdly, it actually has way more personality, but yet very bland on its delivery.
There's like she puts her hand up, though.
Okay.
Does Marius not know how to high five?
This is a two-person
Excellent.
club.
Is that canon?
Actually, the high five was actually invented, I think, in like the 70s.
I know that this
It was invented right now.
It was invented right now.
I've seen this prototype explode multiple times. I don't want to slap it, and
Hey.
I don't want to find out what happens if I high five too hard.
Prototype, I'm gonna go ahead and cut to the chase here. Do you know there's another soul inside your body?
That is very deep of you, MD.
No, there's not a soul, and there's two. There's you and another personality.
There's
Kind of a little more like a
always-
surfer person kind of vibes. A little more like righteous, and then,
And he's very
kinda comes
loud.
out.
At some point, maybe I will have to explore that side of myself.
I don't think it's you.
I don't know. I have been in heaven. How have you been?
And
You've been where?
In heaven, but only the first tier.
Oh,
you came
got
back.
it.
I told them
It's like where everyone wants to
no.
go.
It
No to where?
was not fun.
What happened?
It was boring. People were boring. There was no thrive for life.
What were they doing?
Mostly existing as robots.
We just fought some kind of god that wants to destroy, I don't know, eat up the entire world here.
He can
And you
take-
were in heaven, but decided to come back.
Yes.
Okay.
He can take heaven level number 1 if he wants.
All right, there's a lot to break down. My detective brain is very overwhelmed by what is happening.
I
non-
did. Oh, sorry.
My non-detective brain is very overwhelmed by what's happening.
I also saw hell briefly, and it was all right.
I think you're backwards.
Well,
Hell
one
is,
was more interesting.
Hell's a plane of eternal torment for people.
Depends if you can vanish them into dust. Very helpful.
This is all really making me deeply consider who we are. I'm Marcus. I play Marcus.
Beautiful segue, brother. Okay.
He's taking lessons from Gary.
Hello, my name is Bryn. I'm playing Prototype, automaton, clearly well adjusted.
Got bored of heaven within 10 minutes.
Yes.
Was it Ariadna? Was the name?
Ariadna.
Yeah, it's a lame name. Nobody's gonna tell me that.
All right.
I've got a better name coming for sure. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know.
I'm Colby. I play MD, the full-blooded orc rogue. I'm a big boy.
Oh, my name is Brett, and this is a fake accent. I play Reginald Sagacious Fox.
No.
Just throw that out there.
Hey,
Fourth wall.
I broke the fourth. I mean, we
Bring it
literally
back.
talked to the camera and tell them that is breaking the fourth wall.
this could be your fake accent.
I don't really know who I am anymore.
There's two people inside of you.
There's two wolves inside of
It's
you.
just all out of me. Yeah.
There's two wolves inside of you. One's British and one's Brett.
One, whenever there's a lot of alcohol, there's a different person, and then I'm just joking.
That was 2 weeks ago.
What?
But this morning, when you awake in the fortunately much nicer and much more private cabins of the Reaving Wind, knowing it's the final day of your voyage upon this vessel, an actual passenger ship, meant to carry passengers, a far cry from the Sullen Starling.
It's like a cruise.
So we were just on a boat for 2 weeks?
Yes.
Is there anything new I would have learned from Prototype in 2 weeks of, talking about,
I'm excellent at communicating to people, so for sure.
very
there's-
straightforward, I've got that.
Yeah, whether or not we have the same understanding of words is.
You
But,
want to
you
be
know.
an entertainer, I feels like you want to make people laugh.
Must be a stand-up
You want to be a
comedian.
stand-up comedian.
You're both best friends.
There's a bit! There's a bit in there somewhere, kid!
You will be arriving in the ports of Kathir within about an hour. You had no luck finding Mun nor Lowls in Casimir. It seems that, again, you were simply too far behind them. But you knew the next destination and their journey. And about the only really thing you still have to do is keep trying. One of the few things that was easily parsable in the journal, that you had found upstairs in Mun's laboratory was a chart of the journey that pair was taking down to Hathir. They had split their journey across land and sea, something that may be a bit more comfortable would allow them to restock and supply in Opara, the capital of Taldor, should they wish it. But overland journeys are much, much slower than cutting through the mostly calm waters of the inner seas. You will have made up time here. Days and days of it, actually. And if you're lucky, here may finally be the place you can catch up with them. As you awaken in the morning with your cabins, how is it? What are you doing?
I'm thumbing through notes and things like that, smoking my pipe, relaxing.
And this is where I was going to do the character introductions, but that bit was really funny.
Yes.
I can do the character introductions again just
That's
to make
okay.
sure.
That's okay.
No, yeah, I'm just pondering and hoping that we're on the right trail, and if there's anything to, if I'm figuring, if there's any holes or anything that I've missed. So there's like notes and stuff that I'm going through as I'm. Yeah.
You have a lot of notes from the party, from their exploits in Thrushmore still. A lot of things they had recorded, seen, and done. They have a bit more intimate knowledge of Lowls' plans on account of having worked for him, and two of them now remembering that. You know he was on his way to this enigmatic Mysterium, and he was in search of a tome called the Necronomicon. It's supposed to be a book that puts the power of the Chain of Knights, something that Marius is unfortunately quite familiar with, very much to shame. Like, little more than a cantrip by comparison.
Plus, also, whatever that's happening with Prototype is also like baffling me. The creation, change of the whatever.
Prodding and the poking and the expecting. In this last hour on our it's pretty much getting equipment ready. Talking to Reginald about what the plan actually is. If we need to figure out, like, we're not ahead of them, but we need to know how recently they were here. And showing sketches that I've been working on over the past 2 weeks of the two. So when you made my character, I just remembered you made me a bounty hunter as my background.
I did.
That's funny.
There's a reason for that.
That is funny.
It's kind of the thing that we're going to be doing for a large portion of this campaign. Largely, it's not technically a bounty, but it's the same concept.
It's a concept. I'll pay myself.
Prototype. You are in a small cabin, of course, with Adelmay, who is a very heavy sleeper, as much of the party surely will have come to learn by this point. She is not a quick starter in the mornings, and as the rest of the party is wakening and readying to disembark, Adelmay's very much still asleep in her bunk. What are you doing?
I'm going to actually be shifting. So it's interesting. I'm learning how to try and control this kind of explosive power that I have that sometimes happens and sometimes doesn't really work so much. So we're on a wooden boat.
Power.
I think it's a great time to do that.
Okay.
So that's kind of, I'll practice that a little bit as my morning routine. A little bit of sparks here, a little bit of explosions there. Nobody
a small,
minds.
very flammable cabin with Adelmay.
Yep.
Just spraying sparks.
We're always the best guests on boats.
Perfect. You guys.
Everybody loves sailing
If you're lucky, there's no international Galarian-wide blanket passenger ban. If there was a blacklist, you would all definitely be on it. How about you, Marius?
Marius is very focused, serious. He's just relaxing. It's been a pleasure cruise the whole way. Like working on his tan, doing some fishing. He's just having a great time. We've been needing to unwind.
You wear just to double check. You wear a hat that makes you look like whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He looks like a dwarf that is
you just make yourself look like a slightly more tanned dwarf as you see.
Yeah. But he looks like a dwarf who's on vacation, wearing like a whatever the Pathfinder equivalent of Hawaii is, and like one of their shirts. And of course, like white tube socks, cargo shorts.
He's got the trifold foil tanning sheet.
We've been through a lot, and for once we're having a normal boat ride.
This is a voyage in which you are not committing an insane esoteric ritual almost every night to go to a dimension of dreams and nightmares to experience horrors beyond human imagining. This is just, as I said before, kind of a cruise. It's a well-stocked passenger ship. You have fun.
We didn't lose a single friend on this boat.
You did it.
Yeah. It's not over yet. Yeah. I feel like every morning, whenever she's always practicing her little things, like as I go through my notes, my ears just kind of twitch. Like I don't pay attention to it, but I do.
You can hear like this.
Yes.
It's little bits of sparks in the other room.
Actually, every once in a while, you'll see there'll be a shade of prototype will almost appear in your room, and it just a slight vision of her existing and then not existing.
Yeah. So day one of the trip, I'm like, what is happening? And then you just slowly go back, and then by day 8, I'm just like.
I feel like you're telling us that prototype is radioactive and is projecting.
She's like a glitch. She's glitching out most of the time. Her head swivels back into the 360.
You're not supposed to jump between the material universe, heaven, and hell within the span of a day. That's actually not supposed to happen.
Yeah, it's a little disconcerting,
Slightly
and it's a thing that
disjunctive.
happens.
It's more questions. More things are happening are creating more questions, and to be honest with you, I'm tired.
But imagine similar
Reginald
to
was gonna go insane on the boat ride.
Every once in a while, I'll try and high
to our arrangements in the inn. Is it the Marius and Reginald room and the Edelmay and MG and also prototype room, or
I can just take a closet somewhere.
prototype's just in a broom closet?
Yeah.
In my room.
I just feel like I was just in a room next to their room. Wherever their room was, I was just,
We got a little bit of change. We didn't
Somebody else could be a roommate,
shell out
doesn't
for individual rooms.
It depends on how big the boat is.
Well, also it depends how paranoid everyone is.
I'm
After
more
the
concerned
weird
about
trips.
last-minute bookings, trying to get there as quickly as possible to not lose any more
Yeah.
time.
Normally you get the best deals. Actually,
That's true. That's true. They want to fill the boat.
They gotta fill the boat.
Go on
MD,
standby.
you would hear a knock on your door, followed shortly by it's the handle immediately turning and opening and just revealing Reese, already fully ready in her traveling gear. Cloak around her shoulders, just kind of looking at you and then looking at Adelman in the bed. That's what I figured. She'd still be asleep.
Hard to wake up.
Well, try. We're almost there.
I'm gonna walk over to Anomaly and just hold her nose closed. Hey, lizard, are you
HP's
there?
going down.
Lizard, are you there?
No. Is she dead?
No, she's alive.
Her mouth's closed and you're holding her nose.
No, she's fine.
Stop it. She's not breathing. Stop. And Reese comes over and just smacks your hand. And then just gently kind of slaps Edelman on the cheek.
She's not waking up.
Slaps her a little
Hey,
harder.
whoa. That hurts. Me. That hurts me.
Right. Fine. Of course. Of course. As soon as they're supposed to arrive. Why does this keep happening to her?
Probably a side effect of what happened with the ritual that took our memories.
But you remember that now. I guess it still doesn't necessarily. Whatever. Whatever the case may be, we still have to go. We're going to be docking here soon, it looked like, when I took a peek outside. So, we need to be ready. I don't want to waste any more time. I'll find lodgings, I'll get accommodations. Three of you head straight to the Mysterium, right?
Yep.
So, me to take her, or you? We already have to... I'll have Martin, but I can handle both. And she just sticks out one hand and points out her first finger and whirls around a little circle in the air. You see Adelmay kind of turn over, float inch off the bed, and the sheets just sort of cocoon around her, and it sets her back down.
Sure. Do you think you can handle her and Martin?
I can, she's not going to be happy if you find her, but she's not there. Like or not, I feel like.
I'll just take her. Get the papoose ready.
Alright. And she takes another step in the room and just waves her hand. The door shuts behind her.
You're getting really good at that.
Yeah, well. I want to practice. And honestly, she's a pretty good teacher. Alright. So. You're gonna check the Mysterium. If he's there, fantastic. If not, what? Immediately on to look like okay now was his next stop?
I believe so. Figure out how far ahead they are of us too to give us an idea how fast we need to travel.
Alright. I'll find lodging. If we don't need it, we don't need it. And I'll see about chartering another ship to the island.
Perfect.
I could hopefully have it ready by tonight if we need. But hopefully we can, well, get this over with here. Who knows? Alright. I'm getting Martin ready. She reaches out and opens the door. Steps back out of the room. The group of you, Marius, of course, on the deck, bathing himself like the tourist he is the first to see Kathir rising in the distance. While the majority of your voyage had been throughout the open waters of the inner sea itself, the past couple of days had been through a mighty river that headed a little further inland into the nation of Kadira. South of Taldor, you've made your way to a very different landscape. It's hot. It's very arid. There's not a lot of greenery along the riverbanks. Mostly dunes of sand and stone. But here, this is unlike any of the ports you'd passed coming down the river so far. This city you see in the distance, not far out now, is a massive monument. They call it the City of Gold, and as you see it now, for good reason. In the light of the rising sun, late in the morning, it looks like each building throughout this huge metropolis is capped with swirling roofs of polished gold. The entire city itself a glittering beacon on the shoreline. You see a long stretch of riverbank that has been carved into a wide, semicircular harbor, absolutely bustling with huge vessels. Casimir looks like, well, Rushmore by comparison. This city is enormous, absolutely dwarfing anything that any of you have seen in your lives. As the ship comes around, the captain skillfully piloting its way, you can see a variety of small flags both being held by sailors at the helms of their various vessels, but also waved in small turreted towers on the end of each pier, directing the traffic of dozens of massive vessels at a time. Your ship pulls in to the port, but everyone is forced to wait briefly. No one can disembark yet, as non-Kadiran vessels in the port must be inspected and their fees paid before anyone and anything is allowed to disembark. A process that is quick and efficient, but still takes a very surprisingly long time. You are, after all, aboard a fairly large vessel. You see an exchange, the captain handing over not just a sack of coin to the harbor master, the inspector who boards the ship, but also a small velvet package of what looks like just an ounce of salt. Open in the other hand, some tradition, perhaps, as well as a cargo manifest. Before finally, you are allowed to disembark. The ship you have chartered is fairly fine. The price paid to the inspector, large, and suddenly you are greeted by a huge variety of sights.
And camels.
Camels.
Very loud camels.
Everywhere. I don't know if any of you have seen a camel, but here in Kadira, there is nary a horse to be seen, but there are camels absolutely everywhere. This far south, they have fully replaced the traditional means of transportation with which most will be familiar. They're in stables, they're in pens, they're walking the streets. It is just camels.
What
But
are those?
Those are camels.
The weird looking horse.
Yeah, well, the humps are actually to help. They kind of like store water. They don't have to drink as much as horses do. So that helps with environment. Anyways, hey, you can make a lot of silver jokes when you eat, because it's tons of gold. Because I know you want to be like a comedian, right?
What is an example?
I'm off in this exposition for a bit.
I
he
love
walks away.
like, what would be an example of a silver joke in a city of gold? Anything ironic, honestly? Let's see. You could use a last name like Silverman. That could be funny.
All right. Thank you. I will take that into consideration.
Right then.
I think I might have set her up for failure, to be honest with you.
I think anything she does will fail.
I've seen potential. There's something about the dry humor that's actually entertaining.
Well, it is very dry here, so I'm sure that humor
That's
will fit in
humor.
well.
That's
That-
a joke.
Was good. That was good.
You want to continue
The
your...
crowd here at the harbor in Kathir is fantastically more diverse than anything you've seen before. It's not simply different varieties. There are a huge mishmash of different human, dwarven, and halfling ethnicities, but it goes so far beyond that. There are a lot of various races many of you may have never seen in person before. Eruxi, hobgoblins, a very large proportion of gnolls, actually, but even further than that, at the very end of the pier at which you arrive is a huge 11-foot tall red man. Entire skin bright red, large, pointed, very well-styled beard with a wide scimitar about as large as, well, some of your entire torsos across his hip. The man, dressed in bright garish purple with a huge turban, calls out over the crowd, making offers of visitors' passes, of citizenship to the Imperium for service in protecting caravans for those who need, recruiter for mercenaries, those immediately off the dock. You are directed first to the visitor center, not far inland from the port, but any without Kadirian Imperial citizenship, you probably want to make your way there first. But the city is there before you. You can do as you please.
Well, if we go into this town, it seems like they're asking for some help. We do need to gain the trust of some people, because we do need to know where to go from here.
Well, okay, let's go to the visitor center. Do whatever we need to do so we don't stand out, which I don't think we stand out in this crowd at all.
Did we stand out in the...
You've never blended in more to anything.
Also, I've never seen a hobgoblin in my life.
Which is saying a lot because Marius is still in the tourist clothes and with a large bright blue drink. That's
You
like
see the
completely
group of
frozen.
5 dwarfs on the side, dressed exactly the same.
It's got an entire tour group walking by.
Matching
a
hats.
robot, an orc. You could be a fox right now, and honestly, you wouldn't stand
Right,
out
I was
at
gonna
all.
say, I was like-
this dude is 11 feet tall.
Yeah.
He's got like golden patterns tattooed across his exposed chest. Like he is. That is. You don't even. Well, I mean, I would even need probably a society or maybe even a cultism check to even know what this guy is.
I'm interested.
Okay.
I was like, I want to do
There
it.
we go.
I want to know.
I mean, which one gives me more information?
31 on society.
38 or 30?
I'll give you 31's enough. But 31, you would recognize this is an Ifriti. This is a fire genie.
Ah.
This is from the plane of fire. They are from one of the outer planes of the inner universe. There are extraplanar envoys here, just around the streets, recruiting for mercenary bands to protect trade caravans.
Beautiful.
I have a 40. Like, I mean,
He's a fire genie.
oh,
I rolled a 17 for a total of 19, which means I know that means he's very smart.
He is red.
You're like, it's more of a dark pink. That's the same thing.
No, it's not, actually.
Well, he's a genie, so he has like a high IQ.
All right. Visitor center. There's a big sign that says visitor center.
They don't make it hard to find.
Okay.
Almost every single person coming in from the port from outside of Qadira needs to make their first.
Is this
stop
like
there.
Dollywood? Is this where we're going into? There's like a visitor center. There's like a
Oh,
Well, there's like a lot of brochures there.
a lot of brochures. Is there like are we doing like fast passes?
Well, it's a very ornate gold and white building where visitors to Qadira have to register. You have to register your visit, the length of your stay, the purpose of your travel, so you can be approved and recognized by the Imperial Council of Qadira and welcomed as friends. You were warned when you signed up for this voyage that it's important. It's not strictly mandatory, but it's very, very much recommended as the first stop. The building isn't hard to find at all, but it looks like, well, there sure are a lot of people going into it.
Anybody need to use the restroom? Right now would be the time.
prototype, you need to use the restroom.
I don't know if she uses the
That's a
restroom.
joke.
That's funny. That is funny. I get it.
I will keep that in mind.
I hate waiting.
Well, I mean, we were just on a boat for a long time, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
the whole planet is all about patience. Kind of. All right, maybe not.
I think they clearly handle this every day. I'm sure the line.
How
won't
fast is
take
the
that
line
long.
moving?
They gotta get people in and out.
It
You
is
know?
quick.
That's good. See, you just kind of.
How long is the line?
Very.
Is there like an estimated wait time? Like, do they have like a little flap at the
Tabs,
front,
they
like
have a
90
little-
minutes? Yeah.
And is there fans jostling it back and forth with like some sort of spray liquid?
What's the video playing? What's the TV screen
Right.
showing us right now? Is it describing what we're gonna go
You
through?
make your way over this
different animals, like
gold
different
and
animals
white
on the
building.
screen.
Getting into the front doors is fairly easy, and finding where you're the vast majority of the building is dedicated to a singular purpose: funneling in all of the travelers and tourists who have arrived into nearly a dozen internal queues leading to different stations throughout the building. There are queues for different purposes. There are queues for registered merchants. There are queues for travelers. There are queues for previous Qadirian citizens. There are queues for mercenaries. What would you call yourselves?
Traveler.
Mercenaries.
Yeah, but we might need to keep things. The mercenary bit might be good.
Yeah.
Because that can actually help us maybe entrust some people in town to get us on the right track. 'cause we-
Mercenaries.
What would we have to know in order to determine like if we know any of the like legal differences between
Legal
being
lore.
like
What
a
is society
mercenary
there? Legal lore.
Let me legal lore.
It's time.
between
It's
being like a mercenary versus like pleasure.
I wanna get
or
so much
just,
use
like,
out of
Take a
this.
society for that.
Okay, all right.
You hear him putting your legal lore?
Uh-huh.
He's so happy he gets to use it.
I'm so hey, when you have an obscure lore, you want to use it. I'm gonna use the one from Riley, because we love Riley. Thank you, Riley. MD,
I got a 5, which is a total of 7.
You probably all want to go in the same line.
yeah.
Okay.
MD's recalling legal lore, mostly like for Thrushmore legal lore. It's stuff where he's from. This is
The
out
scope of this is so. There's probably more people in this building than the town of Thrushmore.
so he's like really trying to recall some like vague stuff he's read about this city before. That's cocked. But the 12 on the die plus a 15.
Wait, you have this whole thing that's only a +3?
You're not even trained.
Plus a 15.
Oh, plus
I was like,
15.
how
20,
did you
27.
You're not even trained.
I am.
How's that even possible?
Legal lore.
Okay, 27 because it's a very specific
Riley.
lore. I will give you anything. Merchants is going to require paperwork. Merchants is going to require you to be registered. Mercenaries also generally need to register. If you don't already have, you can see people with paperwork, with very official looking seals and stamps and signatures. Though you could fit into that line and you could register, probably freelance there. It's not going to be a whole lot different than just going through the tourist line, which seems like it's burning a lot faster. If you want to be here for a short time and garner as little attention as possible, just a tourist and visitor is probably your best bet.
Tourists.
No paperwork, no
I don't
requirements.
think we're
discretion.
necessarily
Keep the
looking-
shirt on.
Yeah, I don't think we're
Keep it
necessarily
unbuttoned.
looking to be hired as a mercenary immediately. So I think tourist.
Tourist.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Fair enough. As you make your way over to that line, you see behind you, amongst the huge crowd, some people making way for what looks to be a small floating chair. And behind it, you see Reese, a scarf wrapped all the way around most of her head, so that only really her eyes are visible. Just looking across this, and makes eye contact with Reginald and just floats the chair over. Oh, my God, so we really have to do this?
We're just trying to stay low.
What are they going to do? Arrest us?
No.
They said it wasn't mandatory.
It might make things easier
How long is this line going to take?
forever.
Are you parched? Are you like hungry? Are you getting hangry?
No, I just want to get Martin somewhere safe. And she just kind of lowers her
There's no
hands,
danger.
and the chair just slowly descends and kind of sits on the floor in front of her. And she reaches up and rubs through this scarf on her temples. It's still somewhat draining to hold them, believe it or not. It's not effortless. It's easier than carrying them by hand, I suppose, but...
Right.
Does she not have him like strapped to a dolly?
A little barrel.
You know, that's honestly not a terrible idea.
Is there like a wheelchair rental?
Surely I can find. They have this city is madness. Surely they have something. I'll. Can. How are you gonna? One of you sit with him. Just the rest of you just hold his place in line. I'll be back. I'm gonna go find a wheelchair, or wheelbarrow, or something. Turns the heads off.
There's a wrapped up body that we're going to be dragging around.
It's fine.
Doesn't look suspicious at all.
I have one
We
strapped
are-
to my body right now.
You are
We are carrying
carrying
two
Edelman.
bodies.
Still unconscious, just back in the
She
papoose.
just sleeps
On
in
the
all
front of MD, just unconscious, spared the wrath of the Kadiran DMV.
Oh.
It's honestly not a horribly agonizing experience, and within the span of an hour, you're through, approved, papers in order. Did you give them all your actual names, or are you making things up? They don't require any proof or anything. They simply ask you how long you expect to be here and names for the register.
I just spell them brick.
Stevenson.
Human. Non-human.
Stevenson, human, person is the last name.
Prototype.
Yeah.
Uh,
Steven, son
He
of
has
Steven.
aliases written down.
Why you put into your alias line?
I've forgotten what I
Mysterium.
originally said. I think I'm probably just gonna go with my actual name. 'Cause
They ask him, he starts flipping
Yeah.
through the
Don't
notepad.
do that.
I'm using my actual
yeah, I was
name.
gonna say Mars is a real name. I
Goodness,
was gonna say
Or
Mars.
citizenship is not
I don't have a criminal history.
Reese's arrive with a wheelchair, decides to cart Martin off, find lodging first, and then come back and deal with this. She has words for it. And the five of you
I need live music.
emerge out of the building into Kathir.
Was there a gift shop?
Within the visitor center, yes, absolutely yes. There are a great amount of small, painted, sculpted miniature versions of the Kadiran Satrap's Palace, which is just an incredibly brightly colorful building. Two wings and wide stripes with those gilded, spiraling roofs atop them.
Is it gold?
It is. Well, there are.
It's a completely made out of gold, or is it like looks gold?
Well, it's like sculpted stone that has like painted gold and painted stripes, and there are little golden figures
Prototype.
of the palace. There's
Go ask the
carvers.
person that works here. Ask him if this comes in silver. See?
There are glass reliefs of the bay that are carved out. There are tiny plushies of camels. There are huge plushies of camels.
Buy a tiny plushie of camel.
There are a great variety of things at the visitor center gift shop. There are also directories, maps of the city to points of interest, to ancient buildings, to high-trafficked markets, to the Satrap's Palace, to anything you may need to find.
Should definitely get a map. Let's get a map.
I have an inquiry. Do you make these in silver?
I'm cracking up. Like, Reginald's like, she's gonna do it. She's gonna do it. I'm like looking at the maps and trying to figure out where to go, and I'm like, all right, she's gonna do it.
Hey, Reginald, new rule. Don't just tell her to do anything, because she will just do it.
That's amazing.
No.
It's a bad rule.
It's a very, very
You're
bad.
not fun. Why am I the fun one all of a sudden?
I look to MD and I look over. I nearly forgot. Do you need to use the restroom?
Are you asking the worker? Person that
Yes.
works here? It's like, this is really ridiculous.
They just give you a weird look and move on to help any of the other dozen tourists that are
Hey, you know what? That's
looking
retail.
through the things.
That's retail.
I feel like I feel like Reginald's coming up with like British humor, and it's like this joint. You guys don't find that funny? I don't understand.
The joke is funny because you are a pile of rocks that doesn't actually need to use the restroom. So asking if you need to use the restroom is like, funny because it's not something you would normally need to do.
You are a pile of flesh
That
and
uses the
wrapped
restroom.
in skin.
She got you. That's a good diss.
Would
It's like 8 Mile up in here.
What is
Like?
that, sedacious?
How dare you?
Marius is gonna get like a big novelty stein that's like painted with like clear on it and it's got like the city.
It's camel. It's not a deer. It's
I
camel.
think it's got the city's sigil across the front. It's got the brightly colored stripes slashing down around the outside
And
of
then
it.
also a new towel that probably has like a camel embroidered on it.
Buy 2 little plush camels with the maps, and like you gotta go find a carrier and send this one back to winter. I think of winter.
Tiny stuffed camel.
Yeah,
like
with a little letter. Now that we're in an actual city, we can like
It's
send.
true. They
some
have
couriers.
posts.
Yeah.
You have variety. They have posts that you can send by convoy or by like traveling ship, or they literally have magical posts. You are in what is a 14th level city. They just have instant transmit postal services. As long as you can find someone who can envision, they might not be able to get it to Rushmore, but they can definitely get it to Ustalov. Then from there, it could very
Yeah.
easily follow the
I'm
traditional.
gonna write a
post.
letter. I'm gonna write a letter to winter. I miss winter. I don't know about him, but
That's all right. This is a good party to ask because the world's #1 winter hater is absent today, so it's okay.
Wait, who?
Cammy hates winter.
You mean the season? Or like
No, you didn't get to meet winter. She was there in the asylum with
You
us.
would have probably come across her briefly. There would have been some overlap. I don't know if you were fired before she showed up or not. I'm not sure what the timeline.
That was like ready to go. That is not in the character portfolio of NPCs. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I mean, here's Winter. I don't know.
Oh,
if
I
you
know
were-
her.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would have been fired from the Sleepless Agency before she showed up because she came in with the Pharasman Inquisition basically into Thrushmore, the Royal Accusers, looking after Count Lowls. They were there with, you would certainly have heard of Accuser Amari, but that would have been a member of her entourage. If you knew anyone, you'd know Accuser Amari, but you might not have known Winters. She wasn't anyone of particular import. Just a priest that came along with the many retainers she brought.
Yeah, no, that's happening while we're here. That's important.
So Reginald is trying to figure out where to go. Like, what's the next lead that I can get to help put us on the right track?
Mysterium? I'm saying that right? Every time
Mysterium?
Yeah, okay. I just like, it sounds like a board game.
It does. It shares a name with the board game, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, no, the Mysterium is not hard to find. It is one of the older buildings in the city. It's a very ancient, structure in the university district, right on the edge of the Venican College of Medicaments and Chirurgery. Chirurgery?
Bless you.
And it has all of that information on that little map we got. Like, it's like
The map
little
you
fun
got,
facts.
you're very
Yeah.
smart.
It's one of the oldest buildings in Kathir, actually. So it is, the building itself, very much a protected relic and one that is not a huge tourist destination because there's a lot of other far more interesting things to see in Kathir because generally it's kind of hard for visitors to get in. It's on there as like you can see it on your way by, but it's more kind of like a footnote on the Venican College than it is its own thing.
I'm gonna hand Reginald a couple of sketches. I've seen that. I have all my memories. I know what Mun looks like, and we've seen him now. I can sketch Mun.
It's too very easy.
Well, I could actually also create illusions to show people.
Oh, I have actual. You don't have to do that. If you want to, here's some.
That's actually good because we might want to hide the fact that some of us.
I don't think anyone
Magical.
cares about magic.
I'm gonna do root magic for you for whenever you do a saving throw.
He's breathing.
Whenever you do the saving throw against a spell or haunt, you gain +1 circumstance. I'm just supposed to do it before everything starts.
Oh, during your
beginning of
daily
the day.
preparations. Okay.
During
Oh,
daily preparations.
okay, so you just have that.
Yeah,
That's
he has
just,
root
like,
magic. Yeah.
Loaded. Oh, okay.
He just
That's
like
cool.
hands me like a strand of hair or something.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
weird stick.
So,
There you
so
go.
here's a stick with some ointment on it, whatever. It's
It looks like JFK.
Who's that?
I don't know what it looks like. In 10. In 20.
Unlike Casimir,
Jeffrey Franklin
finding your
Kirkland.
destination is very much not going to be difficult here in Cthulhu. The Mysterium is very easy to locate. The
As
Vatican College is an extremely respected school of healing arts, and one of the primary, not only one of the primary colleges throughout all of Qadira, but also one of the largest tourist destinations here in Cthir. A lot of people travel from not just within Qadira, but from nations abroad to come to this school. It's very populous. The Mysterium being right on the fringes of the campus makes it incredibly easy to locate.
Every time we find a big landmark like this, Marius is reading through his guidebook. He bought a Rick Stoves
I love this
guidebook.
Marius. I really feel like Marius has opened up and he's exploring himself more.
He's like very
excited.
chill.
Yeah.
He's
Like without the stress of, the whole ghoul thing, but so I think we just find someone who looks like they're in charge and ask them questions. The story could be we're trying to catch up to our traveling companions who went on ahead of us.
I would like to ask whoever is in charge a question.
What is that question?
What do you mean by in charge? Like the whole city?
Whoever we are looking for.
What's your question? He might be able to answer it. He's very
It
smart.
would ruin the punchline.
Oh, it's a joke.
Hey, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you and I can't wait.
I'll remember to laugh.
Excellent.
So great.
This is
Some
the
of best
episode,
day of his
kid.
life.
This is the day episode solely misses.
I know! Started with free cupcakes in the pre-show, and now we're just like in a gift shop in Cthulhu. Like, this is, a
This
great
is not
day.
some horror planet, some
horror
horror
campaign,
story.
by
No,
the
it's
way.
not. What are you talking about?
This finds like I don't know someone who looks like they run things here. I don't know what goes on in these buildings.
Yeah, I mean,
In the visitor center?
I think
Huh?
I
In the
actually.
visitor center?
No, in Mysterium. When we get to
Oh,
Mysterium, yeah.
Oh,
I can tell a manager when I see a manager. They look very
He's
stressed.
got manager sight 60
One,
feet.
one of my backgrounds is
6 to
streetwise,
12. Okay.
so I feel like that would help me possibly. I gotta look it up on what it does.
What
specifically.
do you want help with? Because again,
I wanna
finding
get
the
on the right-
Mysterium, I cannot stress
We
how
found
easy
out,
it
it's
is.
right there.
Like,
It's literally-
it's not hard.
He has the
You
map.
have a
We're
literal
going there
map.
now.
Yeah, but I
actually.
want to know what to do when I get this.
I feel like you're the guy who's like, we have a map. No, I know the way. We'll figure it out. We've got the way. Like,
I truly,
I get
as
it.
your GM, I cannot stress enough how easy it is to find.
It actually, if you turn left at this road and head straight, you'll hit it.
It's in
No,
like the center of the biggest district in Cthir. It's like it's so
I promise
easy.
you, don't make a
Very
left right
visible
away.
building.
It's kind of funny if you look at it. It is the tallest building in the district.
You want to
Like,
go around. I know a shortcut. You want to go around.
Man, literally never been to Qadira.
I got streetwise. I knows things.
We're going to the Mysterium.
As you walk through the town at the peak of noon here, it is very oppressively warm. The sun bearing down, making it difficult even just to walk throughout the throng of people in the streets here on just an average day for everyone that isn't Reginald because he's a desert fox. You have your little heat resistance, right?
I have all kinds of little heat resistant stuff. I think my pipe and my hat.
The pipe is like actual fire resistance. Oh, your hat's what it was.
My hat, just, yeah, it's
wear a
just like
desert fox,
helps
you have the
with
hat that like makes
helps
it so
with
you're-
uncomfortable heat weather.
That's
Nothing
what
like
this is.
flames
This is
or
uncomfortable heat weather.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so Reginald
hey,
is quite
being
literally
able to
chilling.
resist the Florida sun is different than being able to walk through fire.
Yes.
No,
And
I
this
know.
is very much the Florida sun.
Yeah.
We all experienced this coming to the studio today. And that's Cthir, but dry.
It's why I can still stay in my nice suit while we're walking in the sun.
the brim of Marius' hat
As
is a
you
little bit wider.
pass by this college, it's a very wide campus, a massive sprawling complex. On one side is a kind of squat wide sandstone pyramid, one of the few non-gilded roofs visible throughout Kathir. As you get away from the port, they start to falter somewhat, the smaller buildings becoming more mundane and traditional, but even throughout the university district, they have at least the painted golden roofs. Still either perfectly flat or these like spiraling conical tops. But this is just a sandstone pyramid sitting atop a wide, blocky building. It's very immediately apparent when you see it. It's one of the oldest buildings in all of Kathir. The style is Kelishite. It loosely matches everything else, but it looks like it belongs in a different city from a different era. At each of the four corners of this building are angelic statues in different poses, bowing, praying, and the walls of this building itself are carved with reliefs of many more smiling faces of angels. Some standing almost at attention with shields or spears. There is a single entrance facing the road, a round, quite rusted metal door, held in place by sculpted angels with frowns and concerned faces. And hanging in front of that is a big bronze bell with a braided copper band hanging down from it. There is nobody going to or from this door. As a matter of fact, what traffic there is here, still a lot of foot traffic, but definitely thinned out for the ports nearby, are giving it quite a wide berth. And the reason is obvious when you approach. There are a half dozen glaive-armed, they don't really look like guards, but they certainly look official. They've all got matching hooded robes, and you can definitely see the glimmer of scale mail underneath them, standing around, clearly on duty, keeping a perimeter around the outside of this door. What are you all doing as you approach the Mysterium? We're going to go with exploration mode here. What's your focus?
I'm trying to figure out where the little that I know of Lowls or even Mons, the little bit of like where trying to be in their headspace, like where would they go?
Okay, so you...
Or would they have like stopped somewhere and like saw something?
What are your cases right now, by the way? Because you've had a 2-week voyage to get here.
I mean, my guess it's always to find
Lowls.
Yep, that's
What's
all.
Lowls up to?
What Lowls doing?
Hey,
man.
What's your second case?
Let's send him a letter right away.
What's your
Wait,
second case?
hold on. We have magical letter sending that happens immediately.
Well, immediately to like a major post office, yeah.
They gotta have this address. They don't just find the person.
It doesn't like.
I thought it was like
Lowls'
I thought that's
pocket.
what I was thinking. It does. I was like, oh, this is just like a
Harry
teleport.
Potter album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not quite that. It's more like you can if you really need to get a package quickly. It's not super cheap. You can warp letters and packages to like major post offices. In Ustalav, literally only Kalifas, the capital, is the only location they can service.
I think for right now, I guess it would be Lowls, of course, but I don't know if it would be something different. Would be my other lead would be
Mysterium?
what can get me on that trail to like actually find him. What's in the Mysterium?
Find Lowls. And what's in the Mysterium?
What's
That's your case. Like, that's okay. What's in here?
Yo, what'd that building do?
I don't know if you're gonna get much with that one.
What else?
But
would
we
I-
can always shift it later because it takes you one like
I think
10
it's an
minutes to sit
action.
down to shift it, right?
Yeah.
Like, all you can do is an action.
I
If you
think it's
can
an
instant-
action.
You have the thing like once a day. You can instantly swap a case.
Yeah,
But normally
yeah.
it just takes you 10 minutes. So like a regular healing period, you can change one of your cases around.
Gotta pull out that notebook and go, nope.
How about you, MD?
I'm going to be like watching Eyes Peeled. It's going to be seeking. So it's just like keeping an eye on everything and the happenings around us. Being in a crowd, not great. Things happens in crowds.
Okay.
I'm gonna be scouting. Basically, I'll like check over where everybody is, and then check who we're walking towards. Get excited, walk past them. Then I'll check everybody.
She's like a dog.
Check everybody. See who we're walking towards. Get excited. Then slouch. I'm scouting is basically what I'm doing. Looking
enough.
for the next person.
How about you, Marius?
I believe it's also seeking kind of basically just keeping watch, making sure that nobody's trying to pickpocket the tourists, things like that. So
The one tourist.
Two of you that are seeking.
we're all registered as tourists.
Make
we're
me
officially
perception checks to sense motive.
Ooh.
Because your focus is on the crowd somewhat, but definitely also taken by these 6 figures standing outside the door of the Mysterium. It's the clear
41 or 39.
39?
Crap.
Legendary in perception now.
Ooh, rogue things.
Fine. 37.
Well, both of you would notice that while these 6 figures are very clearly posted out here as guards, nobody's really, you haven't seen anyone approach them at all. The Mysterium very clearly does not appear to be open for business. This perimeter is obviously keeping people out. But their attention's not really focused so much on the crowds. I mean, their eyes are out there, but you see quite frequent glances back towards the door. You see their attention kind of shift. Occasionally you see a head physically turn. The guards are keeping a perimeter here, but they are far more concerned about what's in the Mysterium than what's outside it. And it is here we will take our midstream break. We will stand up, stretch our legs, grab some snacks, pee them if you got them. It's going to be about 10 minutes. You're not going to be missing any content. Feel free to check. Oh, there's a thing. A thing that'll happen when we return. Feel free to check out some of our partners down below here. We got a bunch. Discount code UGT Show works with literally all of them to get you some cool deals. Roku-san, thank you for that. As soon as we get back, things. Some kind of nebulous, mysterious thing.
An ice trap on the door explodes.
The door explodes. Yeah, we already did that one. It'll be fire this time.
Also cupcakes.
Also cupcakes.
Me.
All right, we'll be back. Don't go too far, everybody. Cupcakes. Bye.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. We have arrived at the mysterious Mysterium. We, being this group of fine adventurers here, who we'll go ahead and flip it over and start on this side for introductions post ad break.
Oh yes, indubitably. My name is Brett, and I play Reginald Sagacious Fox.
I've never wanted to hit a man more in my life.
So shallow and pedantic. How dare you?
I'm Colby. I play MD, our full-blooded orc rogue.
I've never wanted to hit a man more in my life.
I have that effect on people.
No, she just doesn't like men.
Hello, my name is Bryn. I'm playing an automaton. Well-adjusted. Prototype's the name.
Meow. I'm Marcus. I play Marius, the Gold Dwarf Ranger, who's being his most obnoxious tourist self in the city.
Oh, you put a country accent on.
Is it a country?
No, I feel like you're too
I like come from New York. Is that
like
what we're
I
doing?
don't know what I was trying to do. I'm just being. I'm
Look,
not.
this is a fantasy dimension, guys. You're gonna have to lay off the.
Are you dual fisting pina coladas as we're walking through with straws?
We've already
One's a pina
established it's
colada,
bright
one's
blue
like a bright
cocktail.
blue, like a.
We don't even know.
It was a.
Yeah.
It was a.
We don't even know where he got
It was a
it.
drink name that was like a sentence long.
Yeah, nobody's even selling those.
Yeah, right.
It's like, oh, I made them.
As you approach the Mysterium, the 4 of you had seen that there were a half dozen, what do definitely appear to be guards posted outside, making sure that nobody approaches the doors. Are you heading towards the Mysterium, away, drifting out like on a kind of a flow of foot traffic here? Are you, for the moment, just trying to walk by? Are you going towards them?
I'm going towards them.
I kind of figured. There's the least subtle rogue in existence. He's walking straight towards them.
The best way to get answers is to ask questions.
All right, I got
Let's see if we can get our portrait painted in front of these guards.
After.
Oh.
You head over. The guard nearest to the group of you does immediately notice you turn to approach, and he shifts to face you and just holds up a hand. My apologies, so the Mysterium is currently closed.
Why?
It's internal business that we could not deal with while it is open to the public.
Is there somebody special in there, like a celebrity or something? Or
Well, from the way they're looking, there's something in it that scares them, makes them nervous of it getting out.
There are a lot of artifacts and writings of great power within the Mysterium, but from time to time these things need private maintenance. Again, I apologize.
Well, we don't necessarily need access to the Mysterium, do we?
well, no, it was just part of our little tour. I mean, coming to the new city, we were gonna.
No.
take a look.
Did you say it was a gate in the front, or is it like a solid
It's
door?
like a circular iron, like solid iron door. It's like an 8-foot tall porthole, basically. Huge, singular rusted entrance.
Okay. There's no way. There's nothing we can see through or in.
No windows or anything.
We don't hear anything.
Huge stone building.
There's no gate. You said there was a gate or a door there, right?
There's like a door to the building itself, but there's no like fence or gate beyond that.
Is your name Silver Man?
Yes.
Please, move along.
Well, this is a good guess. All right, moving on.
Should I ask him about the restroom?
Go for it.
Do you need to use the restroom?
As you're
ask
talking, you
where
see
they're
a
at.
second guard. Kind of, his attention turns over here, and he comes up behind the first, and sort of just like puts a hand on the haft of the glaive he has strapped up behind him, just sort of resting it there. The first one looks back and looks at the group of you.
Listen, man.
Move along.
Is there anyone from the Mysterium that we can talk to? We don't need access. We just need to talk to someone from inside. Someone in charge, someone who knows something. We're
As I
looking.
said, all of our public services are currently closed. And at that, he looks over towards Reginald, and you see him look down and notice something. And sticking out of your pocket, a little bit of desert wind, a corner of a piece of paper be a flapping with that sketch of Mun that MD had handed you.
Uh-huh.
And from Iroka-san, welcome to Kathir, dear party, a city that I, the Great Mother, visits often to obtain my various silks. This place is very wondrous to be in the Court of Silk, so please try not to explode it too much. Perhaps a wheel will encourage you. I would use some deers and pick up a bundle of silks for me to be a nice addition to the horde. He sees that picture, and immediately his expression changes.
Notice you're looking. Is this what you wanted to look
You
at?
know him.
We're looking for him.
Yes, we're looking for him.
And he looks back to the other guard, and they both look, and you have the attention of all 6 of them now are looking over. The other 3 have kind of closed ranks a bit and are whispering amongst themselves.
My creator, Mun, is needed.
I think you should speak with Elder Thier. And he reaches up and pulls up part of his cloak, and there is a badge. What looks like a very plain face with no real expression. Strict line down the middle, black on one side, white on the other. Anyone trained in religion would recognize an icon of Nephis. It's not exactly... You don't need to roll. This is like DC 8. He's a major god. It's
25.
Like, you recognize it. Yeah, it's a nice...
I just like rolling dice. Okay, we're playing a game.
Sometimes it's easy, you know. It's like, you know who Nephis is.
Yeah.
He unclips the badge and just hands it out towards you. Take this. She'll know we sent you.
I appreciate that. Is this in this building we're going?
And he points to the other side of the road where, just outside the University District, still on the fringes here, is a small 2-level building that looks like it's apartments. She is upstairs. There is a guard inside. He will direct you.
Oh man, I was hoping it was going to be somewhere further away. We had to pull out the tourist map. That's very cartoony and animated. Could you show us?
You can follow the tourist map if you really want to, but it's that building right there.
Oh man!
Unfolding it. Thank you.
Would you like a painting before we leave?
Oh yeah, can we get a painting with you guys?
Time is of the essence. If you know this man, if you are of his creations, you need to speak with Elder Thier.
Okay.
We're on a vacation mode.
I think vacation mode.
Business is going. We had our 2 weeks.
MD's a party pooper. By the way, keep the Silverman jokes. I like them. Silver, keep
Why am I a party pooper?
That seems like you are. It's fine.
And here is, you're having this little conversation, and you take a last glance at the Mysterium. All 4 of you, again, hear that static start to crackle in your mind. A couple of sharp popping noises, and a strange whine as the surface of the building, the sandstone itself, starts to lose its color, lose its texture, turn into black basalt. As cracks form across the surface, and you see yellow slugs start to ooze out from the gaps. You hear the voice again. A touch of ruin. of death. It hangs upon this place. More than the blot, more than the black stars. Many gather in this chaos. There are deep roots here, and that which should not be has been birthed within. This place is poisoned. Hurry, you must staunch the wound. And as this voice continues, as you hear this again, like you have so many times before in the past weeks, ever since you got your memories back, MD, the facade of this building, first a pyramid, slowly just becomes a stark, massive wall in front of you as more and more of these slugs drop and pour out, and then you're suddenly back in the street again. What has happened? Go, quickly!
Sorry.
You guys all went through that too. Let's go.
Yeah,
Yep.
awful.
Thank you.
Play it off. Play it cool.
There's no playing it cool. This man already seen us at us worse. Let's go. Thank you for all of your service to the city. You do a great job. Give him a thumbs up and walk away.
As soon as you turn around and make your way across the road, you can head into the small apartment complex. As said, there is a guard inside.
Show him that.
The inside of the building is warmly lit, well-made, plain. Wooden floors and smooth sandstone walls. Bright colors and tapestries hung abound. As you show the badge, the man leads you up the stairs to a hallway that you've seen before, to a door that you recognize. And he opens it to a woman that you have very briefly met. Elder Thier stands inside her fairly plain office. In her black and white garb, her heavy golden jewelry, exactly as she had when you met her briefly in whatever happened when you first arrived in Casimir. She has no look of recognition on her face, but she stands up from her desk, kind of shakily, and reaches for a walking stick she has next to the table, and just moves her way around to the front of her desk and motions. Yes, come in, come in. I assume if the guards had sent you up here that you have something urgent and...
The picture.
Yes.
Sketch.
We're looking for this man. You probably know who he is.
I recognize the face at least. There's one of the last few guests that were let inside the Mysterium before, well, everything happened. He was with another. Do you know the name of Count Hasserton Lowls IV? I believe he is a count of the nation of Ustala, far to the north.
Yes.
Yes.
We have a history with him.
You think they're still in the city?
They're still in the Mysterium.
Oh, good.
What has happened in the Mysterium?
I cannot say for sure. It is not the first time in the Mysterium's many hundreds of years of operation that the words have been triggered and the alarm raised, but this is by far the worst. I cannot tell you the details of exactly what happened, but I will explain what I can. Before I do, though, if you are connected to him, I do not know myself if you are to be the cause of this problem or a solution. What has brought you to Kuthir? What do you know of?
Does it seem like we could trust this person?
See,
Well,
I mean,
I can't remember, because I don't know if I know. Do I know of this person, and are they trustworthy or not? Also,
was this the episode you weren't here for? Were
Probably.
you here for
The
a time
first
door
episode.
adventure?
we went through all the doors and ended up in different areas of time.
I
Was
don't
that like
think-
her first
yeah, I think it was
episode?
my
Yeah, that was her first episode.
yeah, I think so. I think
You were here?
A few of the
You
things.
met her very briefly. It was one of the many doors. You stepping out of her office. It was, I believe, the second that happened after there was the mansion with the ghost woman and the strange butler.
Yeah.
There was this exact situation.
Right.
And then there was Thrushmore.
Right.
I still doesn't know whether we think she's trustworthy.
Right.
Or not.
That's fair. Give me perception checks, my seekers.
Yeah.
The two seek. Well, do you want to switch to seeking?
Yeah, I wanted to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Join
Got
us
a
in
19
perception.
on the die for a 42.
Deer seems clearly very guarded, but you get a sense that she really wants to immediately trust you. You don't really get why, but she is earnestly awaiting the answer to this question. She's covered in this black and white, very clearly Nethesian garb, and matching the badge of the guards that were outside. And you get no indication that she means to deceive you. At least not so far.
Right. We have a history with Lowls. We've been trying to catch up to him and, I guess, settle a score, ask questions, figure out stuff that's going on. He's done some pretty messed up stuff to me in this one. This point at the gnome on my chest. And we've been cleaning up his messes along the way, too, apparently.
And I'm a detective, basically, on the hunt to find him.
So you are no friends of his, but pursuing.
Yes.
Very well. You must have come far then. I assume perhaps you have followed him maybe all the way from Ustalov. That is quite the journey. He has done some things to you personally, and you are a detective, so there is more at play here than I understand. I am unfamiliar with the man beyond his station and what little we had during our interview before we allowed him access to the lower reaches.
I mean, well out of my jurisdiction here, so that was just where I've...
Not near anything powerful.
Yeah, so it seems like you are earnestly trying to give us information to stop something. I'm guessing you're not really for what has happened inside the Mysterium.
Nobody can be. I'm currently the acting captain of the Stewards of the Mysterium, and we are a sect of Nethesians who have controlled this building for generations. And my superior, Elder Lythine, is within. I wish to see him, well, recovered in an ideal world, but at worst laid to rest properly. That is my primary concern. Whether he is alive or dead, he will be of great use to us in righting the situation within the Mysterium. My second, of course, is returning things to how they are, or how they were. In the past days, the events inside do not seem to have too much affected the area outside. It seems contained, for now. I do not know how long that will hold, but I can only hope the Keeper has done his job.
So, what can you tell us about what has happened? And if you don't know much about what has happened, can you tell us about the previous events that you've mentioned?
There's a great amount that I can give you, but we have only just met. This is information that must be guarded at least with some level of caution, you understand. Information is power, and the events of what have taken place in the Mysterium more powerful than most. What is it you desire? Here, with the Mysterium, or with this conversation?
We are basically just on the hunt for the two men that have just...
You said they're still in there, right? Lowls and Mun.
I can guarantee you that they are. The Mysterium has only one physical entrance, that facing the road just across the street from this building.
Then
The building is dimensionally anchored and locked. It is impossible to teleport into or out of it.
I won't Lowls.
Can you walk through the door?
You can, but we fear we risk unleashing what is inside.
If Lowls is inside the Mysterium, then I won't inside the Mysterium. It's as simple as that. I'll find my way through whatever is in there.
Yeah, but but they're worried about whatever's inside to come out, and there's a huge populated city.
Yeah, well, we fight whatever tries to get out.
I could only hope it were so simple.
We fought an Aeon.
An Aeon?
But
We fought a thing from beyond the stars. I pulled out a sketchbook and started flipping through. We've done everything Lowls has done, has pulled nightmares.
You have drawn the attention of not only an Aeon, but slain the Nakahana. That is an interesting achievement. Not unique, but close to it. You have long stories behind you if you have the attention of the servitors of reality. If you have come to odds with them, even all the more interesting. I make no judgments of your past, of course, simply observations.
Well,
And even still, your main priority is to find a man.
it's his fault.
And I understand that information needs to be kept carefully. You can't always share it immediately. Is what has happened in the Mysterium, does it have any effects on time?
It's possible. There are some wards and defenses within the Mysterium that use chronology magic. Why do you ask? That's an interesting and very specific question.
Wow.
Well, this isn't necessarily... Well, I guess this is technically the first time we've met, but we met you before. Briefly.
I think I understand. Then, it seems the outcome of this conversation may be preordained. I have already agreed to allow you access to the Mysterium, and something has gone more wrong than I had feared. And she moves back.
Brain. I'm like, wait a minute.
Around the desk, just seemingly unfazed by this, and kneels down and opens a drawer and removes a heavy bronze key. Puts it up on the desk. All of the keys to the Mysterium are currently here on this desk. They've collected them to ensure that nobody is able to accidentally gain access while things are still happening down there. I can only take a guess at what has happened, but I can assume that due to whatever actions you have or will take, a temporal anomaly has been created. There is a ward within the Mysterium, one of many, that is meant to allow us time to deal with a theft, an intrusion, or vandalism. To put it in its simplest terms, it sends its target 1 year into the future. For them, no time will have passed. In the blink of an eye, they will perhaps not even notice anything has changed, save for, ideally, the countermeasures that we have had 1 year to prepare to handle them. This word may have been triggered, perhaps even by you, and something may have gone wrong.
That makes no sense to me, but okay.
I want to trust you. The questions that you have asked me and the things that you have said here, they connect in odd ways that I do not believe you could understand if you were not telling me the truth. It would not be the first of our defenses that has been subverted, so allow me to explain what I can. Something happened within the Mysterium. One day after we allowed Count Hassett and Lowls and that man access to the building, they wanted to do some research in the lower levels. This is not something we often offer to those outside of the stewards or respected scholars of the College of Chirurgy next door, but I regret to say that we have fallen on some degree of hard times, and the Count offered us a sizable payroll for simply 48 hours access to some of our materials. We did not allow him access to the deepest depths of the Mysterium, but I believe he may have tried to breach them anyway, thus triggering the wards. There are many defenses in the Mysterium. We have artifacts of a wide range of power, all very important and dangerous in the wrong hands.
Wait, let me get this straight. You just let this man in. Did anybody, chaperone him while he was doing all of these things?
Of course. A pair of stewards attended him at all times.
And are they gone? Did he get rid of them?
I don't know. Our stewards now number 9. Before the event, there were 34. I do not know how many still may be alive within the Mysterium. But
what kind of materials are down there? Is this like a library?
there is knowledge, yes. There are tomes, there is information.
Oh.
There are magics that predate the very existence of the universe. But there are also artifacts of similar power. Very powerful items, relics of bygone eras, wars, and gods.
Everything he's been looking for.
Well, all he wants is a way to translate. That's all he's looking for, is a way to translate the words. That's why he picked up Mun.
Yeah.
Now they're going to pick up the book.
You see your eyes kind of narrow. Do you know specifically what he was looking for?
Oh,
Because it sounds like you speak of something other than what he had told us.
well, he has knowledge of an artifact known as the Necronomicon.
Sort of close your eyes and bows your head. Yes, the Necronomicon is contained within the soul of the Mysterium. He was not allowed access to the soul.
That's what he wants.
It is not entirely, but almost impossible to access the soul without the aid of someone who knows how to access it. It is a demiplane. Not even inside the building proper.
This man is so stupid he could accidentally bumble his way into anywhere.
That's how he's been besting me this whole time.
That which is not there is. All possibilities are when possible.
I won't ask the specifics of who, but are the people who would know how to access it all accounted for?
Myself, Elder Lythine, and 2 stewards, neither of which are among our remaining number.
Wait, 2 stewards, were they with him?
They were inside the Mysterium when everything fell apart. Yes.
That's just...
Neither of them were assigned to aid him in his studies. They
Yes,
were on
but
the
he-
upper reaches simply surveying.
But he might have figured out who the 2 were.
It's possible.
All
In
right.
fact, likely, given the story that you have told me here today. Before you agree to head into the Mysterium, allow me to make you as aware as I can of the danger you agree to face. This time dilation is not the only ward we have in the Mysterium. In fact, the primary one is the Guardian Mirror on the first level. It is the first line of defense. Given the power and intrinsic value, not even to speak of the dangers and risks associated with many of the items we have in the Mysterium, the defense of this building is not simply a line of men. Many of the outer planes also have an interest in keeping the Mysterium running intact, keeping its resources protected. Axis and Heaven have both lent forces, and the Guardian Mirror is linked to Axis directly. In the event of a breach when the wards are triggered, the mirror is supposed to open a portal to a building in Axis from which Axiomites can arrive to help defend. But that is not what happened. Horrid beasts emerge, distorted hounds from the dimension of time.
Okay.
Is there any way, if we do go in, to alert the wards that we are friendly?
Yes, there is a way to reset them, but that trigger is on the lowest level of the Mysterium.
That seems inconvenient.
It is difficult on purpose. The wards are not meant to be reset until the Mysterium is safe, and the intrusion has been dealt with.
So we will fight all wards to get in?
You may have to. Most of the wards, most of our defenses, they are not beings or creatures. The Axiomites are an exception. That is what Axis directly has swayed to our cause. That is how much interest they have in keeping the Mysterium safe and secure. But most of our wards are traditional magical defenses, things like the time dilation, magical protections. If the mirror was distorted as it was, though, I fear any information I give you on them may no longer be accurate. It may lead you to look for traps which no longer exist and be blind to ones that now do.
So basically you're saying they used your security system to keep them securely in there, and now you guys don't even know what's happening. So we're going in there basically where he basically just rewired the whole thing.
I don't think he did it intentionally.
I think something has happened with the trinket that man had brought inside. Lowls had a very direct interest in whatever it was he was researching, but the man on your drawing there, I do not know if he was a friend or an associate, but he seemed to have his own interests. He had with him a small object. It was part of the reason that we agreed to allow him inside. It was a divine relic of some sort.
I'm going to tell her about the spawn that we fought in the attic, what we know about it, and his connection to that and that entity, and how it kind of drove him a little bit mad.
She listens, again, very surprisingly unfazed by what would be the most insane story that most people have ever heard, and seems immediately to just believe it at face value, even like nodding along with an uncanny amount of understanding. Like, of course,
Naturally.
You're talking to a Nethesian scholar. And Nethys is the god of magic and knowledge in Pathfinder. He is one of the gods that was once a mortal, regular person, and then just ascended to godhood. It's happened several times. A couple times with the Trial of the Starstone. Rory specifically, who perfected his physical form so much that he just became divine. Nethys did the same with his mind. Nethys' history is known. He was a wizard. He was a man. And he studied and he researched until he had learned everything. And with that came omniscience and godhood. And that is what clerics of Nethys pursue. Knowledge and understanding. You were speaking with one of the scholars in the Inner Sea, truly capable of understanding the things that you were explaining to her. The spawn that you had fought in Mun's attic. The time anomalies that you have experienced. Someone who can actually understand the reasoning behind this and work with it. She listens to your story. And at its end, do you tell her that, you just tell her, like, what it was that he'd met it, that you fought it and killed it?
Yeah. I'll let Marius determine whether or not he gives her his side of it. But I don't know how much you trust this person.
I don't know if it's necessary.
I don't.
You got a brief taste of being Nethys.
I think Marius would possibly give a little bit of information that's probably better than Marcus, can actually say, but like basically just cutting out the part about what happened to Marius himself, and instead just saying that entity mentioned something about trying to like consume or basically what it was trying to do, but without saying why or to whom.
This may be difficult to believe, but the stories of a spawn from beyond the stars such as that are not unique. They are very, very rare, make no mistake, in them being slain. Rarer still, but there are outer beings beyond the universe, and perhaps even beyond the outer planes, of which little is known even to the most dedicated of scholars within and without the universe. That would explain the origin of this object, perhaps. And this may be conjecture on my end, but it is not impossible that you and Mun have both triggered a time anomaly. It is possible that you are, well, the word fated seems appropriate, to activate it with him. I do not know of any other way this would be possible. That word is single use. Again, things have been subverted, but I cannot imagine a way in which it would trigger multiple times. It wouldn't have the energy. That, or either you or him, have been disjuncted by something else entirely. Not defense within the Mysterium. But that which is not there is.
Any more questions? Any more we need to know? We're going in.
I will share what I can, although I'm unsure of how much it will help you.
I am a little curious. I don't know whether it's relevant to the situation at hand, but since she's asleep, do you think we should ask about the crystal that she thought she stole without anybody noticing?
Oh, I'm reaching her bag, the rock from the
rock.
Yeah. You're smart. You're way smarter than me.
It appears to be a rune of some sort, but one that I will admit I am not familiar with. Without time to unravel what it is, there is little I can tell you beyond the guesses, based on its form and its structure, but if you are able to resolve things in the Mysterium, I would be more than happy to unwind it for you.
I am also interested in the artifact that Mun was carrying with him. I may recognize it.
I only caught a glimpse of it, but I know he was interested in researching it further. He didn't seem to know exactly what it was. What?
I'm sorry. My audio from outside of the... I don't know if the mics are picking that up, but I'm picking that up.
Is the front door the best way in?
Front door is the only way in.
I could get.
For security reasons, the Mysterium only has the one entrance, and as I said...
Is it like a magical barrier, like blocking everywhere else?
It is a simple door of metal, though there is a dimensional anchor over the whole of the building. It is impossible to use conjuration magics to teleport into or out of it.
What about my knock?
The walls are too thick.
All of the walls of the Mysterium are lined with a layer of lead for this exact purpose.
No
expense was spared in the protection of this building. As I said, it is a combined effort of multiple planes.
Now, I'm gonna bring this up. It's probably a little untoward, since we're kind of doing this of our own volition. There's a friend of us who's lost himself in the Dreamlands and hasn't woken up. If you can think of anything between now and the time we walk out of the Mysterium alive, any information we can get on waking him back up would be very, very useful.
I will think on it.
Please.
I will do what I can.
Mr. Faber.
I will offer you my mind and my hand in research afterwards. But your relic... He did not seem to know exactly what it was, but he had great interest in it, and even I could tell just from a glance. You can almost feel the power within it. He briefly mentioned he believed it to be divine in origin, and he may be correct. I do not think it to be something on the scale of the Starstone, but it is an artifact of power I don't really understand. I saw it largely appeared to be a blue gemstone with some kind of carving or inscription on its face. In white ink I did not make out. It is set in a metal gear, almost like a piece of clockwork, but I do not think it actually moves. It's possible it sockets into something, but I would not know what. Clockworks are not my area of expertise.
Do I recognize any of that?
You would know it as something Mun kept on his person, but didn't pull out terribly often. He kind of carried around sort of like a lucky charm. A lot of times when he was waiting for experiments, waiting for things to fulminate, waiting for results to come in, you could just catch like a glimpse of his hand in his pocket and see a bit of it through that, as he's just kind of rubbing it with his thumb. It was always on him.
Okay.
It's a fidget spinner.
Yep.
Fantasy fidget spinner.
All right.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
No, I think...
Let me share with you what I can. We know a little of the creatures that have poured forth from the Guardian Mirror on the first level of the Mysterium, but there's little I can tell you about what has happened in the levels below. The creatures are difficult to explain, difficult even to look at. Due to the nature of the dimension of time, even laying eyes upon them can cause pain and death. It will be difficult to battle, but you will have to try your best to avert your gaze, not look at them directly, especially as I do not know how numerous they are. But they have a weakness. Such as we are not able to understand their forms, they too don't really understand the physicality of the material plane. It confuses them. It's contrary to their very being. They are unable to process curvature of any kind. Any angles, strict right ones like the intersection of floors and walls or walls and ceilings are home to them, but any rounded space is their bane. You can use this to your advantage, as there is a meditation chamber set into the ceiling of the first floor. Many of the scholars use it as a sensory deprivation area, a quiet place to meditate, to study. It is purely spherical, accessed by a ladder near the middle of the floor. You may be entirely immune to them there.
What they look like. Pull out the picture of the dog we fought in the mansion.
Just a small smile kind of spreads across her face. With what others would call the absurdity of your tale so far, I suppose I am not surprised to have faced the Hound of Tyndalus before. But yes.
Oh.
They are myriad, and seem stronger than most of their kind, though admittedly, they are a race that we as mortals have very little record of.
Oh, at least we know we're going into them.
If you have bested one before, then, well, your expertise is better than mine.
I mean, anything is good. It's useful to know that we're fighting while the last one snuck up on us.
The fact that you are here to tell that tale speaks volumes to your skill.
You know, regulations, whenever you create a building, you actually have to have 2 exits and an entrance. Like, so there's like, just in case for fires.
I mean, I don't think fortresses or castles have 2 exits out of the keep.
think
I
this
think
is
it's
all-
just one.
This building also appears to be old enough that I think it's
They
probably
just don't follow
grandfathered
that.
in.
Yeah,
the
they probably grandfathered in
regulations
at
are like a
probably is.
normal city code.
I guess they could probably get out through like time and dimension. That's kind of probably where
it's
they.
registered as a historical building. Actually, Mun's Tower only had one entrance.
Oh yeah, it's very not safe.
A lot of this actually going around in Pathfinder. A lot of the one entrance buildings. It's almost like they want you to go in this way.
I love this woman in the middle of this conversation.
Just waiting.
Our tangent.
It's like, what if a fire happens? How are they going to escape? You
They
need
don't.
a fire escape.
Well,
It's mostly stone.
It's mostly brick and mortar. So
Right, we need to change this.
be the change you want to see.
I will be.
Very
I will
much
be.
by design that there is only a single means of access to the Mysterium. Anything else would compromise its security, and because the stewards of the Mysterium know the risks that we take interacting with such knowledge and such artifacts.
How many levels?
Obviously, hold on. Obviously, your design failed because you had somebody with somehow talked you guys into just going into there, and has created this huge problem.
To be
The purpose
fair,
of the Mysterium is use. It is there to be studied.
to be fair, Miles can be very charismatic, and money does talk a lot.
Right.
The operation here is very expensive, and we are not an organization that takes much for profits. We do not sell any of our knowledge or artifacts. Simply allow its use.
My next question for you is there a way we can get like a rough layout of the levels so we know where we're going?
The Mysterium has 4 tiers. The first is at the ground level, which you'll arrive at when you enter the doors. That is the study halls. Most are only allowed access to this. It is a mixture of classrooms and small private study areas for use of scholars of the adjoining college or anyone else who wishes to peruse some of our tomes. Typically, even if those within wish to access information or artifacts from deeper levels, it is brought up to them rather than them allowed down below. The second level below is the Arcana. The Arcana is where we store our lesser artifacts. They are still potent, and the knowledge of the tomes therein is still, well, contained, but not nearly as dangerous as what lays deeper. The third is known as the Cipher Obscura, and if the words of that level still hold, you will have great difficulty navigating it. Difficulty that I'm afraid I will be unable to aid you with.
What was the name of the third? What did you say for the third level?
Cipher Obscura.
The Obscura is a very apt name, for its halls are covered with an enchantment that makes it near difficult to determine the direction that you take. Even decisions at corners or intersections may be at ends to what you believe you have done. And beyond that, the whole layer is shrouded in fog. Without months of practice and the knowledge that our stewards have, it is almost impossible to navigate. Even if someone were to break into it, you would need to be led directly to the resources you wish to access, or you would never have a chance of finding them or even your way out. This is the level Lowls wished to study at. This is why, regardless of his desires, he required an escort of 2 men, and why I do not know how he would have been able to find anything other than the room into which he was allowed. But clearly something I do not understand has occurred.
Who chose the 2 men to go with him? That's what's getting me.
Elder Lythine did. It is almost unheard of for outsiders to be allowed access to the Obscura. So it was 2 of our highest ranking stewards.
Right.
In the 4th level.
The 4th level contains no information, just the access point to the soul itself. But without the knowledge of how to use it, it is useless and well defended. The soul, as I said, is a demiplane. If Lowls sought the Necronomicon, it would have been inside there. And with what has happened to the Guardian Mirror, I suppose anything is possible. Perhaps the lock to the soul has been compromised as well, and Lowls may have found himself inside. But inside the soul is the Keeper, and it would be impossible for 2 men to handle. The Keeper is an Archon, one of Heaven's strongest warriors, sent directly. He does not leave. His stewardship is to watch over the soul. All his time is spent standing sentry in this pocket dimension, ensuring that it is not breached, ensuring that if anything goes wrong, he is ready. If there's any unauthorized access, he will strike them down. Heaven takes no chances, and neither does the Keeper. In addition, he is an Extender Archon, his powers of censorship would render the page of every book within the soul blank in an instant if he saw a danger or believed there was a fight he could not win.
That wouldn't be the most craziest thing that Lowls got past that.
He probably got knowledge. He probably knows how to do everything he needs to do.
Even if he was able to access the soul, if the magic within the Mysterium was subverted somehow, the soul is a separate plane. It is not within the universe. It is a pocket within the great beyond, the outer cosmos. Whatever happened within the Mysterium would not affect that, and again, even were the Keeper to be bested, were it not in an instant, the Necronomicon would be rendered blank regardless. Lowls would escape with nothing. And he could not escape, as the only way to leave the soul is to have it reopened from outside by another. There is no means of exit once you are within.
You're thinking about this in a way with your own contingency plans, that you have thought of this for here, but he's outside of logic, he's an idiot, and you're thinking about smart people actually getting into doing
You're thinking
things.
about normal people trying to do things. Alright, well, I think are we done? Have more questions?
It's a little rude.
If you wish to move down the levels, there is no simple door or lock you can access. The staircase from each floor to the floor below is locked behind a complex mechanism, usually requiring multiple stewards to access. There are several statues of angels on each level. Their heads brass and they can swivel. All 4 must be rotated before the stairs will reveal themselves.
Okay.
They only stay open for 1 minute, and much like the soul, there is no way to move up levels without having men on the floor above to allow you access back. No expense was spared in the security of this building. Once you descend, there is no returning.
How is it you open it?
Turn
Just
this-
rotate the heads at the same time?
The heads should stay locked in place. The only, I suppose, compromise made with this construction was, if necessary, a floor can be accessed by a single man, slowly walking to each statue in turn before making their way to the stairs, but they would still be sealed on the floor below until someone had freed them. This was made in case smaller parties needed to descend, or simply a pair of stewards to the Obscura to ready something. That we would not need a full party of 16 men, 4 on each level, to move down. The wards are controlled by a figure on level 4 at the soul access level. You'll be looking for an angel with blank eye holes, and the triggers are within the sockets.
Got that.
Yes?
Good. Right.
I mean, I think vacation's over.
Vacation.
And again, I cannot stress enough that the only way this will be fully and properly remedied is the return of Elder Lythine. Whatever state he is in, he must, or his body must, be safely returned.
Aye.
The stewards of Nethys can have him returned, or at least his information accessed, so we may fix this situation, but we are a headless beast without him.
I guess when the wards are reset, you know he succeeded.
And until that time, the outer door will not be opened for you. We cannot risk the hounds being unleashed upon the city of Kathir,
Absolutely not.
or whatever else may be inside. If but a single hound were to slip out the door, the consequences would be disastrous. Deaths in an instant in the dozens. You see the traffic in the street outside. Every curious passenger simply throwing a glance that way be struck down in an instant, killed if not worse. You cannot take that risk. Not even for this.
Fair enough. I guess. How do you feel, Prototype?
Excellent. Would you like to hear a joke?
She's been working on her jokes. Humor her, please.
This is going to be great.
It is strange that a walking machine among us is the one that retains humor in a situation such as this.
Oh,
Please, by all means.
Are your clothes made of silver?
I do not believe they are.
It's pretty good.
Prototype looks over.
the joke she's going for
I don't
is
hate
that
it.
we're in the city of gold. So referencing silver in the city of gold is funny to her.
That's funny to me.
Well, sorry. No. By all means, keep this humor. May it avail you in the times to come. Do you mean to take her in with you? And
Yes.
She points to the unconscious gnome strapped to your chest.
My emotional support gnome.
Your emotional support gnome.
Yeah. She'll wake up eventually, and she's a big help when she's awake. She has magic. None of us have magic. Well,
I have a little bit.
none of us have major magic.
Well, with your badge
Make you invisible. I'm just
and
kidding.
this key, there's a heavy clack as she sets the iron key on the far end of the desk. These stewards will allow you access to the Mysterium. And all that I can do is wish you the best of luck.
We're gonna need it.
I'm not really great with jokes like she is, but with the way time is weird, you know. The next time you see us, remind us to wind our watches.
I have been told by a chronomancer once that such devices are the purest way of measuring time. They are simply mechanical, unaffected by anomalies or errors in flow. They will always perfectly track how much time you have experienced with them. It was an odd concept, but one that perhaps is making a fair bit more sense now after this conversation.
You should invest in a timepiece.
Beware the Temporal Ward. It is on the Arcana, the second
Do I have
level.
a timepiece? I feel like Reginald would have a timepiece.
He looks at it, it's like 3 weeks off.
That's fine.
The Temporal Ward is on the second level, and either you, Mun, or both must have interacted with it. And something must be wrong. I don't know further what to warn you of. After all, you are the ones who remember me, apparently. Not the other way around.
Well, now you'll remember us.
And she opens the door to her office and just kind of gestures. I will indeed. However this venture ends, I will remember this. And hopefully will return to speak of it soon.
Hopefully.
Do you still have your 2 cups of like that you're drinking?
I set them outside.
Oh, I thought you were just like slowly slurping, like just.
Sipping a pina colada in the wine shirt while you
every
used to
moment.
walk into the murder dungeon.
Like quickly
full of
finish
super
them
dip.
and then set them
Yeah,
outside
there's no
the
drinks or
building.
snacks
Yeah.
allowed inside the Mysterium. So there's a trash can outside where you dump everything.
As the group of you step from the door, backs out into the hallway, you hear the door start to close behind you before, for the second time, you hear Lythian's voice say, remember, once you are inside, we will not be able to open the door for you again until the words have been reset. The exact line you had stepped into back in Casimir.
That makes sense. Let's go.
And the door closes behind you. The group of you make your way back across the street. Stone Mysterium. The key and the Thesian badge returned to the guard. They no longer stand between you and access to this building. The heavy iron key fits into a lock, almost in the center of this round door. The entire rusted object more rolls to the side than it slides. A huge, rusted, grating sound. Dust spraying down shards of this brown powder around the edge of the door as they open a gap just large enough for the group of you to slip inside. The guards, as you enter, sort of avert their gaze, looking down, looking away from the door. Nobody looking towards the gap as they let the group of you in. And no sooner has the last of you set foot inside the Mysterium proper as you hear grating iron and a huge thud as the door clanks shut behind you. You are here till the wards reset.
It's like an escape room.
It's a very, very large escape
A
room.
deadly escape room. An escape house.
You immediately find yourself
pyramid.
at an intersection. The walls of these corridors are absolutely crammed with shelves of massive tomes, spellbooks, and mundane knowledge bows, cases stacked with maps, cabinets and cupboards holding all kinds of arcane oddments, calligraphy equipment, and reagents for scroll making. It is a very busy place, and a mostly dark one. There's a dim orange light somehow just effusing through the halls from no source in particular. You see in front of you a row of doors leading into small chambers. Each one of these doors carved with angels frolicking with small animals, smiles on their faces. And to your right and to your left, you see but a single door leading into larger chambers. Notably, at the far end of the hall on the right is a freestanding angel statue, a plinth, with a visibly metallic brass head.
There's one.
What are you all doing now? Because I feel like you might change as you explain to Mysterium a little bit.
I love how many corners there are.
There's so many corners.
So many
and
great surfaces.
It feels counterintuitive. I'm keeping an eye out for a Hound of Tindalos when she said don't look at the Hound of Tindalos. So I'm keeping an ear out.
Would I know if I put if I use my pipe and I have that the fog cloud around me, would that actually help hide me? I know whenever people are in it, like everybody else inside of it, they can't see outside of it. I can see outside of it. Would that help me in that?
Do you want to be recalling knowledge?
Yes.
All right, what's your occultism?
25. You want me to roll?
Oh, I want to roll.
Oh,
You
cool.
want to roll.
Oh, man, you do it.
Who wants to lie to you?
I like lying to people. It's fun.
You heard it here first, folks.
As far as you know, having never faced them before, of course, such rare creatures, Hounds of Tindalos, they have eyes. They're very large eyes, actually. They seem like they see. You have no reason to believe they would be able to see through fog any better than any other creature. Their makeup is strange and alien, but they're confused by things like rounded objects. So, I mean, smoke doesn't seem that out of the question.
Okay.
So you're recalling knowledge. You're seeking. Prototype?
I'm going to be shielding.
You keep the shield in front of you in case the Hound of Tindalos blows up.
Yes.
This is also the point, I suppose, and if anyone wants to retcon theirs, that's fine. Averting your gaze can also be an exploration activity. It means you're not taking any other activity because you are focusing on not making eye contact with a Hound of Tindalos if you come around the corner and there happens to be one right there.
What does it do again whenever we do make eye contact? We die.
That, you pain or death.
Bad things happen.
Averting your gaze isn't. So there's 3 tiers of just walking into the bed. If you just go, just full raw, you turn a corner, you'd see a Hound of Tindalos, you'd suffer whatever's going to happen. If you're averting your eyes, you'd turn a corner, you'd kind of see a Hound of Tindalos. You'd get a +2 bonus to any kind of save you need to make. If you close your eyes, you don't see them, but you're also completely blind, which means everything is difficult terrain, and you have a 50% mischance on everything.
How good is my smell?
The smelly one's right here.
Yeah, Cammy's got the sniffer. She's asleep.
I'm a fox. I feel like I have something.
She has imprecise smell.
I don't know how this fits in with the exploration activities, but because I have echoes in stone and can take tremor sense,
Okay.
it still takes an action, and it lasts until my next turn, so it's like 6 seconds. Can I do scouting and basically say that, like, if I come to a corner, I'm going to stand still for 6 seconds, try to see if I feel tremor?
Tremor sense is just one action, and there's no cooldown on how many times you can use it?
I don't see one.
Then that could absolutely be an exploration activity, because you can, like, repeat detect magic. You can spam a spell if it doesn't have any cooldown on how often you can use it. There's no restriction. You can absolutely just constantly be, like, hand on the wall, tremor sensing, or, like, feeling the ground, trying to see. What's the range on that?
20 feet of imprecise tremor sense.
Fair enough.
Then
So
I might.
you-
If he's doing that, I might change mine to seeking then.
Okay. Seeking or scouting?
Seeking.
Okay. So both of you two are seeking, he's tremor sensing, and you're thinking.
I'm thinking.
Thinking with his brain.
I'm thinking on how to not get annihilated by these dog
Fine, you have a
things.
good fort save.
Alright. Where are we going?
It has to be fort save, right? Or will.
Where are we going?
Well, standing right here. Do I
Forward.
sense anything?
Head towards the statue.
Yeah, you're standing here, you don't feel anything. I'll tell you if you feel anything.
Okay.
She said the meditation chamber is in the center of the.
As an action, I do want to change my lead, my extra little.
You're gonna use your once a day, one action swap.
Yeah, to
What's going on in the Mysterium?
no,
Too vague.
it's too vague. I mean, I guess about these dogs.
Hounds of Tendalus and Mysterium.
Yeah.
Okay,
One of
that
those.
makes sense.
What are these dogs doing in the
What the dog?
Mysterium?
What
Your
that dog
your
is.
second
Hound.
case is what that dog doing.
What
All
the
right.
dog doing?
Fair
Yo,
enough.
can I pet that dog?
What the dog?
We memed.
So the
we
Grievous.
turn on the statue as we are here.
Yes, we should.
that.
Did they say that the statue's head like only stays for a minute or?
No, the statue stays turned until all of them are activated.
Okay.
Unless you said the stairs stay open
I-
for a minute.
I think our best action is to ignore it for now. Go to the meditation chamber and try to lure the Hounds of Tyndalos to that. We know they're here. We know they're here. And
Oh, right.
fighting in advantageous terrain is way better than walking down to that corner and getting got.
All right. Forward. March.
I do have my speculars of understanding. Just to throw that out. Spectacles.
So as you start to make your way
speculars, that's not
down
a
the
word.
hall here, you get nearly to the intersection between before Marius hand the wall feels small pacing vibrations just around the corner to the right, coming towards you.
Hands up to tell everybody to stop, and it's kind of like motions toward the right.
She told us exactly where the meditation chamber was.
From here, you can see a ladder. Just at the corner of the intersection on the far side, there is a ladder that leads up to the oddly bowl-shaped ceiling above. This whole chamber is a very interesting shape because you have the underside of the pyramid slanting up, and then what appears to just be almost a massive sphere just socketed into it. It comes down to only maybe 10 feet overhead at its lowest point, just in the center of this intersection. The ladder right there, leading to a visible hatch on the bottom.
I do want to be like the half averting my gaze.
And how high up is that?
It's that ladder goes up probably like 12 feet.
12 feet. Okay. It's gonna point up. Point in the direction where the ladder point up. We're gonna run. I'm just gonna say, just book it. Get
As
up there
MD
fast.
breaks out into a sprint,
It's not a good idea.
as soon as you break around the corner, you hear a howl. Now, the corner of your eye, you see a Hound of Tendalus.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody roll me some initiative.
Last time we fought one, it just appeared in the room.
No.
So I don't. There's no hiding from one. I know this.
We get a +1, right? With one.
No
one's
one's scouting.
scouting. No one's scouting.
All right, Reginald,
29.
29. MD,
I rolled a 14 on the die plus 23, so it's 37.
Prototype, type,
33.
and Marius.
34.
Oh, nice.
Oh, he's got a 1-up. Okay, I see. He's got a 1-up prototype. Is that what it is?
Whoa,
Oh,
rude.
Reginald. I'm so
I
sorry.
rolled a 7, my bad.
I'm sorry. I took off too fast. You weren't ready.
Okay.
That's what I said to you.
You got a
No, don't
34. The Hound of Tendalus got a 35.
Wonderful.
As is the way of its people.
Now, the way is usually it matches you, and you can't do anything about that unless you're an elf.
MD, as this howls, you hear another howl echoing from much, much further in the Mysterium. This baying howl winding its way down the halls before you see a second one come galloping around the corner from the other side, making its way up to just in front of one of the pairs of doors on that end. I'm going to do, for simplicity purposes, whoever can see this makes a fortitude save on its turn. So that's going to be MD. I need a fortitude save.
10 on the die for a total of a 33.
33 is a regular success.
Critical success.
Critical success. You've literally seen a Hound of Tendalos before. You've been down this road. You know how this goes. You don't want it. It's out of the corner of your eye.
I don't want it.
But it does seem to be shifting and warping as it approaches, almost leaving after images behind as it moves in an erratic fashion. MD.
I'm going to use my action to get up the ladder.
Okay, so here's the bad news. You're gonna need to step to the ladder, and then use an action to climb it,
Okay.
and then use an action to open the hatch.
That's a hatch. Cool.
I see the hatch in the ceiling.
Yeah.
So if you want to get up there, get the hatch open. That is going to be all 3 of your actions. You're going to be up off the ground a little bit, but definitely not out of range.
That's fine. I'm gonna go step to the ladder, climb up it, open the hatch, and the hatch just opens up. It's open. I don't
Yeah, it's not locked or anything.
And it doesn't.
It's not meant to be hard to access.
Yeah, and it doesn't close by itself.
No, you can just push it open. It's open.
I push it open, and then I drop back down the ladder. I just let go of the ladder for free action.
Fair enough. Second hound right in front of you. Give me a fortitude save.
On the die. That's a 31.
Regular success.
Critical success. Just staring at it. Just a staring
You
contest with
manage
a horrible
to avoid
monster.
this as this hound lunges towards you as you come around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And it is going to take one snapping bite with its jaws. Notably, this one is not moving like the one across the hall. This one's moving much more like the one you fought back in Iris Hill Manor. Oh, come back. Oh, man, that wasn't a tray. Well, I kind of like it went a little lower. 38 to hit.
38 does hit.
38 does hit. Let's get bing, bing. Whoa, that got popped out of my hand. Its fangs are going to rip at you for 32 points of piercing damage.
Cool.
I have a reaction called
Not-
Invigorating Fear.
But you haven't gone yet. You haven't gotten your
I have to
reaction
go
yet.
first?
Yeah, you have. You basically, this is your reaction to a fight starting. So you're you're not ready. This is as quick as you react.
The first
Yeah,
round.
because basically at the start of your turn, you get your 3 actions and your reaction.
Got
So
it.
you haven't gotten your reaction yet. And then after that is going to come a Wild Claw, which is a 27.
Does not.
Definitely not going to hit. Marius.
I think Marius is going to try to just run up and possibly even just straight jump up to the ladder with a high jump if I can.
Okay, give me your athletics check. You got your fancy ghoul lead.
How hard could it be? It can't be that hard.
Athletics?
Yes, that's
20,
jumping.
24.
Well, how does the ghoul high jump work? Is it just a regular high jump? It gives you like a bonus
I think
boing,
it's just,
right? It's
the main one I was looking at was Swift Leap. I don't think it really does much different besides just for the purposes right now where I'm not worried about triggering reactions. I think it's just basically high jump.
okay. And it's only so 2 actions. You run up that 10 feet, you jump, and that gets you up to the top of the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
But you're boink up to the top of the ladder. You're not gonna Mario jump all
I'll
the way up
finish
in there quite yet.
moving on up
All right.
because
You
I
climb
would
up
like
inside.
to shoot arrows from.
Yep,
up
so
there.
you can see down from inside this perfectly dark chamber, but it's not magically dark. Your dark vision lets you see the inside of this stone sphere. Complete, perfect, unbroken sphere, save for this one hatch down there that on the inside is a little smaller than you expect. It's maybe a little over 20 feet around, a space for a few scholars to meditate, generally while levitating, assumedly, because sitting on the curved floor would be almost impossible. You've got a hatch that lets you see down into the area next to the ladder and adjacent to it easily. That brings us to prototype.
You see the air kind of blur around prototype. She just flies right up into the hatch. Yep.
I literally run up, open the hatch, and see Marius jump up, and see Prototype fly up.
Guys, look at this.
I mean, I opened it for you,
That's
but
good. You did do that.
Much obliged. As I fly by.
I had cool movement.
MD's being the gentleman who holds the door.
Yes,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
nice.
He
Very
doesn't
nice.
know. He sees the guy walking from 20 feet away, hold the door for him. Faster.
And then I am going to Do I know whether everybody has like dark vision around here? You guys can see in the dark, or do I know any of the?
Well, the inside the sphere is dark. The halls of the room below are dimly lit. But I think you would probably know. Reginald, you got dark vision? Surely you would know at this point. You travel with him enough.
Okay, because if I do,
you have dark vision. You Foxman. I don't know if it's. I think he might.
He
be
has
low
low light.
Okay,
And
so
low light
even low light, you'd be fine up here. It's not perfect darkness, so you could. They'd be all right for now.
Okay. Well, I might get out something of light in case we close the latch and it's totally dark.
That's true. It would become perfectly dark.
So I'm going to go in a little ways so I to clear the landing, and then I'm going to pull out something of light variety.
You hear a third howl from across the floor as another cry echoes down the halls, and a third Hound of Tendalos makes its way down from the northern hallway. As it approaches, it is going to be in very clear view of Reginald, straight down the line here. And I'm going to need 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. Oh, it's far enough away, actually. You're just out of range. So you can see it coming, but you don't need to make the save yet. This one is also warping, kind of disjointed as it comes. And Reginald, it's your turn, good sir.
This looks like a weird dog.
As I see that happening, a flash of blue from my tail and around my body, and I go completely invisible. There's a little flash and completely gone, and then I will basically run without looking at these dogs at all or the hounds. I will run towards the. I have 25 feet of movement, so I'll run towards the.
One action to run there, one action to climb up. Welcome to the ball.
Yeah, I think when the spell cat took 2 actions. So.
Oh, so one action to get to the ladder. You get to the ladder.
Yeah.
It's not getting up there quite yet.
Nope.
But you are invisible at the moment, and just kind of hoping that a Hound of Tendalos.
And it's not it's me looking at it, or if it's it looking at me.
It's you looking at it.
Good. Then I'm not looking at it at all. I'm looking at the ladder.
I know that guy. It's Mono. Mono's here. Mono's here. I was just watching an episode of Extinction Cruise this morning to remember what Lizard Man sounded like for unrelated reasons that didn't apply to this episode at all. Anyway, we come around here to this was the first of the dogs at the far side, and it is in an instant going to shoot down the hall. So quickly you barely even see it move up towards Reginald, and it's going to run into Reginald because it does not in fact see you. So
I couldn't dodge it.
That's going to end its motion because it's trying to move into your square. It's charging MD. Then it's going to realize there's something there, and it's going to get bitey. The good news, you're still invisible, so it still has a 50% mischance. So Jaws.
Wait, now can I do my reaction?
What's your reaction?
Invigorating Fear. A creature within 60 feet of me gains the frightened condition.
Nobody gained the frightened condition.
Huh?
Nobody's frightened. I mean, if you personally, Brett, are frightened, I don't know that an in-game reaction can help you with that.
No, it's when a creature.
Something has to get fear.
Wait, hold on.
No one's getting feared.
A creature within 60 feet gains the frightened. Wouldn't I give the
No, the trigger is a creature gains the frightened condition.
Oh, that's what it is.
And then you can do whatever the thing it is.
Got it.
Okay, so the Jaws actually just missed a concealment. It's going to swipe with a claw, which is not going to miss to concealment, but may miss to regular. It's going to be a 29 to hit.
That misses.
And then a third claw with its fourth action.
No one expects a third claw.
No. That's illegal.
That's illegal. This is
Pathfinder legal lore. Legal lore?
Yeah.
Is actually going to miss due to concealment.
See?
So concealment taking 2 of those.
You're tanking.
Good work.
Good work.
And I need
They
both
can't see me.
Reginald and MD to make a fortitude save.
I rolled a 16 on the die
dog
this
that's right
time.
next to you. You're probably fine.
Total of a 39.
That's a critical success. Yeah, you're fine.
What is
Extra
it?
critical.
Fortitude?
It's a fortitude save.
That is a 33.
Regular success. So you will take half damage.
No. No.
You can try saying no and see what happens.
Half damage is going to be 13 points of slashing damage, as simply the vision of this creature next to you starts to cause wounds to just rip across you. You feel your skin knot and tear itself. Just
I'm trying to not make any noises while I'm invisible.
most
I think your
people look at me.
skin's doing that.
MD.
Oh, me.
You.
oh, Reginald's invisible. I'm not particularly looking for him, so I just assume he went up the ladder.
Close the door behind him.
You could hear the sizzling of the skin.
I know he's there, but I have precious cargo. I'm going up the ladder.
He's got.
Yes.
He's got
Actually,
I'm not worried about it.
before I go up the ladder, I have a bunch of actions, right?
you have a lot of actions, yeah.
You're actionful.
It takes an action to climb the ladder. I'm gonna
You see that this hound next to you looks like it's got pretty large slashes and burns that look like electricity across its flesh. This is not its first fight.
Interesting. I'm gonna stab at it with a dagger or with a war razor. Or punch at it. It really doesn't. I'm gonna swing at it. I rolled a 5. I'm going up the ladder.
What's the total? Probably not that high.
31.
31 hits.
Oh.
It's just barely, but does.
Oh, he's not.
You guys thought about Hanatillos when you were like level 7. It's venomous. There's a pack of them now.
I thought they said it was more powerful.
It is. If you needed a 31 to hit at level 7, you would have left immediately.
Yeah.
8 plus 8, 16 damage. Slash.
How do you do it?
What's the one that you hit?
The one that's next to me.
It's really wounded, actually.
It's really wounded.
You slash through it. This big hit is enough to finish off this wounded Hound of Tendalos as this thing just kind of drops onto the ground. And as it drops, its entire body just seems to distort and warp and disappear, just like the one that you had fought before, leaving almost nothing of its previous presence.
And the one that's been swinging at Reginald, does it look wounded? Do they all look wounded?
A lot less wounded, but wounded.
A lot less wounded? I'm still going up the ladder, man.
Up
It's
the better.
scary
Yeah,
out
you-
there.
Yeah.
You could just like throw candy out.
And then I'm gonna shift, one action swing, one action climb, shift the dagger into a. Is the hobgoblin warpike thing a martial weapon or is it advanced? It's martial.
Martial, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to that. I know what that
The
does.
long poker?
Yeah, I have the long one
Poker
hand.
Swirl, you know what to do with this?
Yeah, the
you
long.
see, you had a great tutor.
Yeah, it's one-handed.
Before Marius' turn, you, Reginald, the only one down the hallway, will hear a sound from the eastern side of the chambers, echoing down the hallways in the distance. It sounds like a low hum that starts to waver. Starts just before you hear the sound of shattering glass.
No.
And another howl further in the room.
It's probably the mirror.
Yeah.
Marius.
Fun. I can still hear the ones that are nearby, right?
Yes, you can. From here, you can feel the one that's just below the ladder. I'd give it greater cover because it's 2 squares away from the ladder. You can't really get a great angle on it because the floor is a sphere.
Well,
But-
even just their movement, I could hear
Yes.
them, right? So I think I can still hunt prey.
Absolutely, you
on
can
the
hunt
two
prey.
of them.
The 2 of them, yeah, for sure.
Step 1.
Step 2.
And then I don't know the exact orientation. If I have to step one way or the other, can I still see the one that's closest? So
That's
I
what
can
I'm saying.
shoot
You'd have
down?
like greater cover because you'd have to be on the right side of the trapdoor, like up on a 40-degree sloped curved surface trying to shoot down, and you can barely see it. So you can, but it's not going to be a good angle.
They're easy to hit.
Will. So did I have to use a movement? Do I have 1 action or 2 actions?
You'd have 1 action left
Okay, fine.
because it's not like a place you could.
I'll
comfortably
do
stand. That's not
I'll
even
do
a way.
a hunted shot for
2 shots.
2 shots. And it's very close, so. That's a 4. Yeah, 28.
28 will not do it.
We're getting. That's a 3.
Got them.
That's definitely gonna be worse.
That maybe that's not going to do it either.
The
The 2
Marcus
shots,
roll.
he's
Do
really
I actually-
trying to like brace up. You're standing on a slope that looks like you're on a like skate park quarter pipe trying to shoot through the floor.
Should I
It's-
add a little bit of chaos and ask, did I accidentally hit Reginald? I didn't see him there.
Well, I don't think those numbers would
Actually,
hit
should
anyway.
I have been rolling for concealment, or is it just adding to their AC?
Cover isn't concealment. Cover is just their AC is higher. Concealment's you can't see them. Covers there's stuff in the way
Okay.
because it's like the other side of the hatch. So I mean, neither of those would have hit Reginald's AC anyway. So you're all right. Some arrows just kind of fumble through the gap.
You see some arrows clatter next to you.
Dude, you didn't roll a natural 1. Why did you say that?
Prototype.
I have to ask.
Oh, it was probably
Don't
10 lower
ask
than their
next
AC.
time.
I want to hit something.
You hit the ground. Good job.
Oh yeah.
What is our next plan of action?
Get Reginald up here.
Reginald, please ascend the ladder.
Yes. I'm like not saying anything so I don't blow my cover.
Can you make?
But
like
I'm
the-
definitely thinking.
Make like the
This
sound
is-
of like subway doors closing.
Yeah.
This is the dog at the north end who doesn't see Reginald, but did see the other hound run into something and is then flailing at it, and that seems like a great idea. He's going to do that too. So, Jaws attack
Taking 0 damage.
towards the invisible man.
If I
Fails
take
concealment.
damage, do I lose invisibility,
No,
or is
you
it
don't.
only
if
I
you,
do?
if you attack, you lose invisibility.
Okay.
Okay, loses to concealment. Concealment is super cocked. Loses to concealment.
This is doing him so much good.
You're doing
This
great
is a
work.
really good play, Red.
And passes concealment, but is only it's a 30 even to hit because the third swing. He's got a lot of
That's-
multiple attack penalty piling up there.
That is-
Invisibility, 50% concealment's really good, actually.
really good.
Like
That's
it's a
really
DC 11 just to be able to get the privilege to attempt to roll to hit you.
That's why there's
It's-
feet for fighting
it's
invisible stuff.
Really good, yeah. Reginald.
I am not going to take this opportunity and
Oh,
attack
I need a
them.
fortitude save because of the dog next to you. You are in range now.
Oh.
No! Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
I don't think I want to use that.
Don't think you want to use that.
Do I want to turn back the...
The last time you took 13 damage. That was half.
Yeah.
You've taken no damage from any of their
Alright,
attacks.
I'm noticing what's happening, and I felt the pain, and like, nope. And then I actually turned back the clock, and I used my
Chrono Skimmer thing.
Chrono Skimmer
Got a
thing.
free hero point. That's great.
It isn't once a day free hero point, pretty
Right,
much.
right. And so, and I was like, that could hurt in the future. I want to fix that, and now I have to use this. Nope, that was
Worse.
That sucks. That's what is it? Fortitude. That's a 24. Wait, this is going to hurt. I was
21 points of slashing damage.
just trying to take the
Fine.
pain away, and then come to find out, wound up just
He has-
happening.
So he does not have any health at all. That's a very small health pool I saw on his paper.
Yeah.
21 points of slashing damage from looking at them.
That'd be 102 to be 90.
We have calculators.
That was like a
91.
fifth of his health.
I got it.
So look at them.
I'm not.
Simply don't look.
I mean, I've been looking at him this entire time.
All right.
What you, Reginald? It's your turn.
As I am holding in the pain, and I'm going to run up the ladder.
You guys see, like, a visible trail of blood kind of smear up the ladder and then spatter across the inside of this chamber.
And you hear breathing. And I will close it behind me.
As the door just shuts itself.
And the door just shuts
And now
itself.
you're in darkness.
I'm in here. In pain, but I'm here.
Who goes there?
Obviously it's me. Oh my gosh, you don't pay attention around you.
And you feel Edelmay and your little papoose at this shout from Marius start to wiggle.
Oh, that was the
Okay.
answer to wake
I never
up.
tried to actually
You
wake
never
her up with
actually
my
tried to-
voice. Yeah.
We should try that more often.
And that is where we're going to end today's
Safer.
episode. Trapped in a little spherical chamber,
We're not trapped.
What if we just never leave this
We're
room?
protecting them from us.
locked inside the Mysterium, where it seems like all of the defenses of this place have been perverted into horrible, well, I don't want to say reflections because it's literally a mirror, but reflections of themselves. You know what? I'll take the pun. It's right there.
Shut up.
A pack of Hounds of Tendalos. And after putting one down, a sound that just sure sounded like another one immediately taking its place.
And some cool dubstep.
And some cool dubstep. Next week, when we return to Strange Aeons, we're going to have to find a way to deal with the dubstep dogs.
I think it's more
stay with the
terrifying than
dubstep.
Hound of Tendalos. honestly.
Dubstep dogs?
Dubstep
Cannon.
dogs.
That's,
Cannon, we're changing it.
Mono showed up for 5 seconds, and now we have dubstep dogs forever.
That's the power of mono.
Everybody needs to email Pathfinder, all then we could just change the name officially to Dubstep Dogs.
Sully's going to come back to stream next week, and she's going to be like, "How's it going?" And I'm like, "Great, we're in a winning position."
She's going to wake up in a pitch black sphere.
We're not trapped.
A literal
winning,
sensory
Sully.
deprivation chamber with a mildly wounded Reginald. Everyone else looks fine. By the way,
by
we're
dubstep.
locked in a super murder dungeon.
That's the problem.
That we actually don't know how bad it is, but it's so bad that apparently, like a set up defensive network from Axis and an Extender Archon from Heaven couldn't fix it. So it's pretty bad.
But
And we
these
willingly
misfits-
walked in.
And we walked in on purpose.
Lowls is at the bottom.
Lowls is here.
Lowls
We
is
also
here.
walked in with Sully's character.
Yeah, we brought
So-
you in for you. We thought you'd like
It's
it.
like we're gonna go to a dangerous place and we're gonna bring this baby with us.
We decided you're a part of this. But
Family
Sleeping
activity.
baby.
whether or not Lowls found his way into the soul or the Necronomicon lays, there is no way in or out of the Mysterium, physical or magical. This is if we have caught up to Lowls. The question is, what did he do? Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being here. If you've made it to the end of the stream, all I ask of you, a humble favor, is that you follow our channel. It doesn't cost you anything. You made it this far, and it really does help us out a lot. It's the biggest thing that teaches the algorithm, the chat GPT of YouTube and Twitch, that, you know, this show's pretty cool and people should see it. Y'all want people to see this show, because it's pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
We got pretty cool people on it.
We got AJ.
That's right.
We got me specifically.
Colby.
We got Marcus.
Sorry you showed up at the end, Mono. So good to see. It's just so funny. I was
Marcus
watching.
made eye contact with me and then moved on.
Best to do. He's a funny guy.
I manifested. It was just.
I thought
looking
we
at
were
the
going to
first
do a
episode
pattern of
Extinction
saying
Curse.
each person saying one other person who was cool. So I was like,
Well,
I didn't
Brent
think I
goes
have to
unspoken.
enumerate everybody.
It was literally
Arcade is behind the scenes.
sitting. I was sitting there watching this video to get the Lizard Man to see what the Lizard Man voice was like. I turned to my girlfriend. I was like, "Man, I miss these dudes."
I missed them too. I was thinking about Selwyn the other day.
And she said, "That guy with the long hair is really hot." She didn't say that, but I could feel it in her mind.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
it's
Everyone
obvious.
thinks that.
Everyone
yeah,
thinks that.
Everyone
It's-
thinks that. If you saw
I'm
Mono,
honest, so
yeah.
yeah.
It's just, it just comes with the territory. He knows. He gets it all the time.
Yep.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Until next week, stay safe. Stay safe.